the Lui Diaz Podcast.
Episode 72.
Rock and roll. How are you, bro?
Good, man. Dan Boerman, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh,
This
it's
is
a pleasure.
I've been in Melbourne for a few days, and I can already tell this is a very neons in a lane. How good?
That's sick.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah,
This is it's what the Anzacs fought for.
absolutely.
It was great. So we can do this on a Thursday.
Oh, that's on brand, or that's on topic.
Yeah. Who are you going as for Anzac Day?
Yeah, well, mum gave my Nazi uniform away to the op shop, so
Sometimes I do podcasts without researching them.
I've never. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is one. Surprise.
Yeah. Hoi.
But no one's ever asked me who I'm going.
I
as
came
for
up with that
Anzac
riff
Day.
a couple of days ago. I think it's real fun.
That
I
is
think it's good.
rando.
Yeah, it is random, mate.
How do I meet a shock question with a shock answer? That
Yeah.
was what I was trying to just work through.
Yeah.
in
Well,
my
I had nothing else, so it was handed over to you, man. Yeah. How good.
No, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad
having
you
me.
appreciate this. And yeah, you were mentioning before that you've seen this before, and that's really so weird to hear.
Yeah. It's cool,
That's
man.
really
I
weird.
feel like if you think of the echo chamber of social media, though, right? Like I'm following comics, New Zealand, Australia, UK, people guesting on here, etc. This is a reel you're going to stop and watch, you know? There's just like cat videos and all the rest. And then it's like, oh, hello.
That's a big compliment, bro.
Yeah.
I only started doing video in about July last year.
Okay.
So before that, it was audio only podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big believer in just do what you can manage and then
Yeah.
grow incrementally.
Yeah, nice.
And I got to the point where I was making excuses about adding video.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's going to be too much work. Fuck video editing. All of that. And then I got to the point where I was like, oh, you're just in a comfort zone now. Like
Yeah.
what you've done, I maxed out my audio recording capability.
Yeah.
It was good. It was crisp. It was nice. It was sexy.
Nice.
There's nowhere else to grow with that.
Yeah.
The only place to go was with video.
Yeah, nice.
And so I shot the first one with my iPhone. But then I introduced this 360 camera,
So
and it's added this whole other layer to things. And
it's filming everything right now. It's 360.
everything. That, your shoes.
And it's like, you know how we block out our nose, you don't see your nose. Like you do see your nose, but
Oh, yeah.
your brain shuts it out, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Neuroscience. of
Same
noses.
thing can't be said about a rhino though. They're having a real hard time. But for us, we shut it out. And these cameras, they don't see themselves, do they? They
Yeah.
shut themselves out from the footage. or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it has like this AI chip inbuilt
Yep.
that will make will fill in the gap.
Yeah.
So sometimes when someone's standing right there,
Yeah.
you can see this murky little wave,
Yeah, right.
but it's so crisp.
Kind of like the Google Street View Cam, in a sense.
Yeah.
Something like that. Have you been on
Exactly.
Street View before?
No.
I
Have
got
you?
on. I cameoed a few years back in my RMs as well, which is quite cool. It was
You're
kind of
kidding.
like, about 4 years back. These are the fourth pair of RMs that I've had. The first three, I kept returning them because am I allowed to say naughty words?
Yeah, of course.
They were real fucked. I said that with my chest as well. That felt good. Man, I've been trying to drop an F-bomb all day, but I've had no one to chat to. The first few RM Williams that I had, they kept apparently a few years back, they got bought out by Louis Vuitton and the quality's changed. And so they were all scuffed up and gnarly. So I had this brief RM William phase, which has been immortalized by Google Street View. There's 360 footage of me in a few footsteps in my RMs. But these ones, bro, I got these off a marketplace for half price. I got these for $300,
Your
brand
size.
new, not my size.
Oh.
And I had to stretch them. And
What do you mean stretch them? You can do that?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. This is a point of contention. I went into the store. I went to RM Williams. I'm a size 12. He's a size 10.
Yeah.
And the lady at the store said, she fitted me. She got my size. He's a size 12. And I kept talking about a hypothetical pair of shoes. I was like, oh, what if they didn't fit? And she could see what I was doing. She's like, you're clearly just buying shoes off of the internet and coming in here to see what you can get away with. And she said to me, common misconception, leather doesn't stretch, right? Leather doesn't stretch, she said. And I pondered this for a week or two. And then I saw a pregnant cow. And I'm like, one of yous is lying. Either she's lying or the cow's faking it, bro. So, yeah. I don't know how we got into the RMs. There's going to be a lot of tangents. I apologize.
It took a pregnant cow for you to work out that leather stretches.
Yeah. Well, no, because the first couple of weeks I was all blistered up. I'm like, she's right. Leather doesn't do this. And then I saw a cow carrying a baby, and I wonder how the baby's doing. I often think about her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a pair of shoes the other day, and they're slightly small, but the chick sold me on the fact that they stretch.
Right.
So
yeah, I think
we
I just
had
got swizzed.
Different experience.
Or could be different cows, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe the Aussie one's just more greater flexibility. Maybe the Melbourne cows are doing yoga and they got a bit of give. New Zealand cows are just too cold. I don't know.
Oh man, yes, tangents. We'll go on tangents, and that's
cool.
That's kind of that. If I ever come up with another name for this podcast other than the Lui Diaz Podcast, tangents kind of works because all my guests and I go on tangents.
Yeah, would
and
be
that's
good.
why I said to you before, like, trust me, 2 hours will go fast.
Yeah,
because we're going to start talking about you, but then we're going to go on all these tangents.
I
and
love
then
it.
Bang,
boom,
it's like,
rock
oh
and
shit,
roll.
how did it get to 1 o'clock?
Yeah. You want to hear my podcast idea?
Go, please.
Because my read on the room is if you said no, I still would have anyway. So I appreciate you giving me the space. No, I worked as a barber for many years. Cut hair for a very long time, and I haven't seen any like comedy. Oh, cheers, man! I'm too shy to get a haircut myself. I haven't seen like a comedy barber podcast where you get people on, you give them a haircut, length of the podcast half an hour, and you just like chat and shit like this.
Yeah.
With kind of like ASMR haircut thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Could be something in
clippers
that.
though. It's got to be scissor job.
That's such a good point, man. 100%. Yeah.
And then like just do some talking in the background. Just talk now. Just talk about anything.
Oh yeah. So anyway, man, I just been started taking the omega-3 fish oil. Yeah.
You know what I mean? No
Yeah.
clippers.
True. I wouldn't be able to. That's such a good
Co-producer.
point.
I want producer's credit on that. If you start that up, Lui Diaz had something to do with this.
Or there could be like there'd be a certain type of mic that'll pick this up but not this up, right? Like a shotgun mic that's only picking up voice.
Oh, true.
But not clippers. Yeah, I'm not
didn't
sure.
Didn't think of that. You're right. There's mics for that shit now. What am I doing? I'm old school. So when you're talking about that person in shops that knows that you're going in there to buy something off Marketplace and is just doing recon.
Yeah.
I've had that experience. I get that experience a lot when I go into retail stores.
Right.
Because that's kind of how I shop.
Yeah.
I still go into a shop and buy stuff because I was born in the 80s and that's just how we did things.
When were you born?
84.
84. Bro, best year for music. 1984, Van Halen. Have you heard the album? It's called 1984. Like Jump by Van Halen's from that album.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I said jump.
Yeah. 84. All the best music came out in 84, 85.
Michael Jackson did something in 84, I think. I can't remember what that was.
I think Thriller and Bad, maybe somewhere
One
in
of
that
those
ecosystem.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a lot of
Off the
things in
Wall.
the 90s as well. But if we're talking music, he had a couple great albums in the 80s.
Yeah. 84 is a good year.
Yeah.
I like having it in my date of birth. Like every time I write my DOB down, I'm like 84.
Boom. You do it so often you call it a DOB as well.
DOB.
You don't have time because you're filling out so many forms. When's your birthday?
That's what we do here in Australia. 31st
Of
August.
Oh, fantastic. So you're a
Astrology, Virgo.
boom.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me a couple nights ago, I did a gig here in Melbourne. They messaged me after and they're like, hey, I'm a Virgo, which means I'm really good at sex. And I was like, this is just way too forward.
What?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, which means I'm good at sex. And
What was his name?
That's such a fucking high school roast
I'm so
as
sorry,
well. As well. In Melbourne as well.
I'm so sorry,
As
bro.
Melbourne, I reckon we like within a 500 meter radius of here, there will be just like Rainbow Crossing, won't there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But someone, was that a pickup line?
Pick up. Yeah, I assume so. I don't know, but it was.
That's very forward. I'm not used to that kind of forwardness.
No, I'm not, and I often don't. I don't pick up on when things like that happen, right? And so when someone's like, oh, I'm a Virgo, it means I'm just kind of like, why are you bringing star signs into this? You know?
Yeah.
Why are you like, why the fuck do you think the solar system wants to get involved on a
Exactly.
Thursday night? Like, give Jupiter some rest.
You don't need an excuse for just saying that you're horny and you just want it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I'm
You
a
know what I
Pisces,
mean?
so I'm a shocking lay. It's like it's not even my star sign. It's just a confidence issue.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, speaking of comedy the other night, you're not
Yes.
just doing it the other night. You're here for the comedy festival.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
You're
10-night
part of
run.
10 nights? Is that
10-night run. Yeah, 10 nights in a row.
Okay.
Night number 7 tonight, I believe.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm meeting a bunch of comics, obviously, through the festival.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of doing it different.
Yeah, cool.
Some guys are doing the whole month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy.
That is bananas. Yeah, 10 nights feels all right because I'm based in Edinburgh at the moment. I've
Yeah.
come here. I'm doing the end of this fest and then the start of the New Zealand one, just kind of sandwich it together to do both. I'm not really sure what the motivation was to do Melbourne, but I just have never been to the city before, and I thought I just I'm doing to Melbourne for comedy what I was doing to R.M. Williams for shoes. I'm sussing it out, I'm trying it on, and I'm like, I'm gonna be getting my fix elsewhere. And I'm going to be just kind of like this. Yeah, it's pretty shocking analogy, bro. I miss the person I was 30 seconds ago. But I really do. I had credibility until I started trying to draw comparisons between shoes and Melbourne.
I think
You are the shoe that doesn't fit Melbourne. Now give me money for performance. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm working on it. I'm sorry, I'm a Pisces. I'm a bad conversation.
And sex.
Yeah.
Hang on, wait a sec. All right, 10 nights.
Yeah.
But this is a huge festival, isn't it? Like, didn't you
Yeah.
want to come here anyway? Wasn't there some kind of, like, didn't you know, like, this is a good festival? Like, did people go, that's a good
dude.
festival?
Yeah, people have said it's like biggest in the world, 100%.
Really?
Yeah. People have bigged it up to be massive. I think the thing for me is like, I've moved over to the UK to try and get good and try and get a bit of a name. And I think there's an upper limit of how long I want to be away from the UK. So like I've on the circuit there for 3 or 4 months, get a few spots at like the Stand, trying to crack some stage time at Monkey Barrel and that, touring around a wee bit, drop down to London when I can for spots. If I feel like 2, 3, 4 months, I'd get forgetting about pretty quickly.
Really?
And I have it in my head. I don't know if that's true, but I have it in my head that like a long month away is a bit of a kind of fleeting go away, come back. And I didn't want to take the piss. And then there's the expense thing as well, right? Like it's a weird one, bro. You probably make a good argument, and people have told me this before, that a month in Melbourne would be more fruitful than a month in the UK. So perhaps if I could go back in time, I would spend more time here. But then, like, I'm only here for 10 nights.
10 days is great, bro.
It is, but I'm not locking in enough. I get caught up, like, sleeping in and then gym and then shower, and then it's like 3 p.m. and I start writing.
So
it's
you're
like,
in
dude,
holiday mode as well.
not even holiday mode. I just like procrastination mode, where I just like I lock in later in the day, and me being productive is like evening until like, and then like 1 a.m. I'm like doing tax returns. It's like, what? This is sleep. What am I doing? So I don't know, man. You said I was organized before. I think I just give the illusion I'm like the opposite.
No, bro.
Real chaotic.
You have a lot to manage, man.
I lost a ring this morning, and I just immediately made peace with never finding it again. I didn't look for it. I was like, I'm never going to find this again.
I love that about. Yes, I love that. I'm not that person.
No?
I don't make peace easily. If I lose something, it fucks me for about a month.
Really?
Like maybe even a lot longer.
What's the worst thing you've lost that you miss and you're like devastated?
I have this story once of the thing that I never like has impacted me the most and led to the subsequent feelings of shame and anger and frustration for losing things. My stepdad bought us these watches when we were kids. My brother got one, and I got one. They were the same. They were like a Casio watch with buttons.
Which are real cool again now, right? You could
Exact.
thrift that for fucking heaps now.
Oh, bro, no, this one would be priceless because it had Mario inbuilt into
Oh.
it. You could play like a Donkey Kong style version of Mario where all you do is sort
Loose.
of just jump up. And legit, one day I was in the sandpit at primary school and I never saw that watch again.
Right.
And I had to come home and explain to my mum and brother, who still had his watch on, how I no longer had my watch on and I had no idea what happened to it.
Brutal.
And I was just...
Did you get home like 3 hours late that day? Like, sorry, I lost track of time.
It would have been a great excuse, but
Yeah.
I felt so ashamed of myself and I was given a lot of shit for it because it was a damn good watch.
Yeah.
And it just set me up for a life of being like, oh, fuck, no, I lost that thing. I lost my nail clippers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've just never been able to get over that feeling. That's why when you said I've made peace, I'm like, you can do that. You can make peace with
I do
losing
it
something.
immediately though. I don't give myself time to miss it. Like this spinny ring,
Man,
right?
that's so Buddhist
It's real
of you.
cool. It's like a stimmy little ring, and
nice.
and the outside of it like spins around.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Yeah. So that's fun, right? And you'll see me
yeah.
playing with it on stage.
Oh, yeah.
But
Like
it
a-
needs to have like a bit of like body grease in it, which I know is a gross sentence. But if I wash my hands, and it gets too clean, so it needs a bit of like zhush to spin around. But I lost this morning, and I went straight past worrying about it being sad, and I was just eyeing up the Labrador in the place I was staying, and I was like, you probably ate it, bro. I'm probably looking through your poo a few days from now, and it's probably just as clean as when I was wearing it. But yeah, I went straight past it. I was like, no, I was just imagining my life without the ring. It's like, you know, hey, One Ring Dan, how you doing? You know, like
Yeah.
that's me. Yeah, didn't give myself time to be sad. It was in my pocket. Like, I'm not riffing. It was in my pocket. I just had it. It was as close
Well,
to me
that's
as it would have
great.
been on my finger. Yeah.
Yeah, I often find myself really losing my mind over something I've lost
Yeah.
and then finding it and then regretting the fact that I was just cursing out into the universe.
Yeah, you're like, this was so out of proportion. How much, like, I overreacted massively. I can't believe I'm never going to do this in future. And then
I
the
need
next thing
therapy.
you lose, you're like, putting your, well, that's what this is in a sense, isn't it?
It is.
This is people, you know, this is like the EAP, you know, the free therapy you get through work.
Yeah.
Like the wish.com therapy. Someone's
Yeah.
like unqualified to like, yeah, I'm not saying that you're unqualified, but this is, you know.
Well, I give people essential life advice, but I'm totally not qualified to.
So you're 41 this year, I'm 31.
Yeah, shit.
31-year-old me.
Really?
What do I need to know? 10 years younger than you. What am I freaking out too hard about as a 31-year-old? What do I just need to simmer on? What doesn't matter that I think matters?
Okay, so this young Melbourne-based comedian the other day on the podcast said this thing that said, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but underestimate what we can do in 10.
Overestimate 1 year?
Yeah.
Think we can do loads?
Yeah.
But-
But we underestimate what we can do in 10. And
That's
that's
good.
like a famous saying, right? It wasn't his quote,
Yeah.
but he sort of reminded me of it. And it's so true.
Mm.
It's so true. And like, I try not to give advice that's like too pointy to people.
Yeah.
When someone asks me, oh, you know, what do I need to know for my next 10 years? I'm like, well, nothing specific. Just keep one thing in mind. And that is, if you just remain consistent, you know, keep setting your alarms, keep having that mindset of like just being able to let things go and have like a goal and just show up a little bit every day.
Yeah, so
You're going to out fucking perform anything. And that thing's also true. Like there's this famous story about that. And I can't remember where I read this. So there's a famous story about a guy who is a janitor,
yeah.
who was a janitor his whole life, basically on a very minimum wage. And when he retired, when he left, when he died,
Yeah.
he shockingly left a huge amount of money to charity.
Right.
$5 million.
No shit.
Like a guy who just cleaned up a school or hospital
Yeah.
or whatever it was, left $5 million. And you know, they say how he did it. He just invested a little bit of his pay into the top performing stocks every year of his life.
Yeah, it's that a little bit every day sort of thing, right? Is the way to do it.
And we can do, like, the same principle applies for our time on this earth. If
Yeah.
you just do a little bit every day, and that's why
Yeah.
I was talking to you before about, all right, I'm growing incrementally.
Yeah.
Because if you go 2 balls deep on something too quick, you freak yourself out and you
Yeah.
have this kind of shock reaction. But, you know, one of the things that I love about your story is that you've done something that I never had the guts to do, which was to move overseas to pursue your dream.
Yeah, right.
And that's like, I'm already taking my hat off to you for that.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
So you've already got the mindset, right? But
Yeah.
now it's like, all right, how do you just stay consistent?
I think something I've been reflecting on the last many weeks.
That's a mate of mine who just took photos of us.
Oh, sick. How good. Yeah, over in the UK, bro, I've been taking like a lot of big swings with stuff like doing a gong show is not a big swing, but you know, like an example, 400-seater in London. I go up there. There's 3 red cards in the audience. There's no buffer. There's no minute at the start to warm up. Straight on, they can gong you off. And I got the first red card before I spoke. And then I said my first joke and it got gonged off. So it was a 7-hour train ride, 29 seconds, got gonged off. And there's a few things, a few like big swings I've taken on. I'm only 4 years into comedy, like early on in the piece, taking some big punts, trying to get on like gala shows and shit, which I'm maybe not there yet.
Yeah.
But so what's been happening is the last many months I've taken a lot of big swings
Yeah.
and almost all of the big swings haven't come through. So there's been a lot of like big loss, right?
Right, okay.
What I've been trying to do, and this isn't a new concept, this is like, I don't know, but it sounds kind of cringe. What I've been trying to do is like, when I have wins, I'm like, sick, I've got the win.
Oh.
You know, like come to Melbourne, 50-seater. If I get 50 people through, that's a win. If I go for something, I go for the gong show or I go to do whatever, I'm trying to like treat losses as a win and trying to be like, yeah, I had this big goal in mind. I tried doing this and I didn't get this. But focusing on this big thing I was trying to achieve has made me lose sight of the other ones. And it's like from yesterday till today, it's the continuous improvement thing you're talking about. I've still made momentum in the direction of what I'm trying to achieve. And as long as you're making momentum, that's absolutely fine. So if I came over to Melbourne and I was like, my goal is sell out every night. I'm going to go home real sad because there hasn't been a night that has sold out. But what I need to reflect on is like, I've met you, I've met loads of comics, I've made lots of connections, I've been on lineups, I've had, there's content from the journey that I now start my solo hour with. So where I was at a month ago versus today, I'm a better comic, I'm a better person, I'm further ahead.
Yeah.
So it's all wins. But if I'm focused on this big, like, I'm going to sell out my Melbourne run, I'm like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm so disappointed. And if you're just focusing on that, you're always going to be sad. Yeah. You set the goals real hard, you don't hit the highest stretch target, and you're always sad. It's like, no, like, bro, like, getting to do this, like, this is sick. This is the second podcast I've ever been on. Like, all the stuff that comes with the Melbourne trip. I'm a better comic, I'm closer to my goals than I was. And yeah, just try not to lose sight of that, bro, and just to be like, I don't have losses, I just, I mean, I do all the time, but trying to reframe it that it's like, it's not wins and losses, it's big wins and little wins. Yeah. So it's all wins in some capacity, you know?
I love that, bro.
Not trying to spin something bad happening into, oh, but see the silver lining. It's like, no. Losses don't matter as long as there's momentum towards what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah. And as long as I'm closer towards that goal than I was yesterday, doesn't matter if I took a big swing, I tried getting on a 1,500-seater gala in Glasgow and they wouldn't have me. It's not like, oh, my career's over. It's like, no. What else have I achieved around that, you know? So, yeah.
That's huge. I think that's another thing that I've read in some of these, you know, success books. It's like, oh, you have to congratulate, like, you have to acknowledge your wins.
Yeah, 100%.
That's one of the things that, like, I learned late and, you know, probably the hard way, you know, like, I'm thinking about where I was at 31, I certainly didn't have that mindset, but like, I was like, oh yeah, what I do really poorly is that I chastise myself for my failures.
Yeah. And a healthy amount of that's good. A degree of that, of you listening to a podcast or me listening to a gig and going, right, what can I improve on? I shouldn't have done that and I'll take steps to do it better. But it's not good to like beat yourself up real hard, is it?
No. I was talking to Alex Main the other night, who was he did the after party show. Yeah. And I've had him on the podcast. He's coming out in a few episodes' time. And I forgot to press, no, I didn't forget. I just didn't press it hard enough. Yeah. Record on the audio.
For the whole thing?
No, for the first half hour.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I didn't let that one go too quickly. But he was so chill about it, and that really helped. Yeah. Because I'm starting to like learn how to develop this kind of self-compassion. Yeah. I think that's my journey is trying to develop self-compassion. I think, it feels like you've already got that down pat. Like, man, you took such a big 4 years in comedy. Is that it?
Yeah. So
I started. You've been doing this.
Well, I started. I'll tell you the story. I'm 31. And you know you're in your 30s when you're like, bro, I briefly, as I was waking up this morning, I convinced myself I was 35. I was half awake, but I was like, I could be. And the beauty of that is that 4 years from now, I've already made peace. So I'm not afraid to die.
That's brilliant.
February 2012, I put my name down for my first comedy show, Raw Meat Wellington, in Monday. Raw Meat Wellington. Oh, that's so cringe. Do you ever do that with words? You get them around the wrong way?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I asked for a triplet. I did it again. Triple chocolate cookie. And I said, can I have a triplet chocolate? And then I just fucked off. I was like, no, I don't. I don't deserve this biscuit. A biscuit is a reward for being a functioning, salary-earning member of society. And right now, I'm being a fucking invalid.
I just blame English not being my first language.
Right, what is your first language?
Well, technically it's Spanish.
Oh, cool.
But I don't really speak Spanish anymore.
Yeah, right.
But still, I remember when I came to Australia, my brother and I were calling it control remote this whole time. And then one day my stepdad intervened and was like, all right, enough. It's remote control.
It is both though. It is the remote. It is a control remote. Yeah. So February 2012, put my name down for my first spot at Raw Meat Monday in Wellington. James Nakise, very funny, very smart Kiwi comic, was emceeing. So that's how long he's been doing it. Yeah. He's Edinburgh based as well. Yeah. And I didn't show up for the spot. I got really, really high and then forgot I'd booked in a nipple piercing, and then I was just stoned and just getting my nipple pierced instead of doing comedy, which is like the opposite of grinding, isn't it? Just being high in a different town, and it wasn't good. It was the most excruciating pain of my life, and I was like, is it done? And they just put the clamp on. Like, what came next was terrible. So I signed up for a spot 13 years ago. And every few years I'd have this revelation and be like, this is the year I'm going to lock in, I'm going to do it. Like 7 years back, flew to the UK for the first time.
Yeah.
And on the flight over, I was like, this is me. I'm going to do stand-up.
Yeah.
This is my thing. And I watched a documentary called either Dying Laughing or Dying of Laughter. Dying Laughing.
Yeah.
Fantastic doco, 50 different comics, black and white, candid, chats like this about comedy. I was like, this is me, rock and roll, I'm going to do it. Never did it. Didn't do it till 4 years back.
So what? That's 9 years of umming and ahhing and like
It
procrastinating.
was about 9.5. It was you could round it up to a decade of being like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna lock in. I got I'll show you this DM from a few years back. I was showing a friend this morning.
Yeah.
So it ended up being there was a 9.5 year gap between going to do it, wanting to do it, and actually doing it.
Yep.
Sorry, English is my first language.
Can.
Yeah, dude. And so the first spot that I did, you know David Correos? He's DJing here in Melbourne. He's on Taskmaster. He's hilarious. One of the best people I know. He was emceeing that night that I did my first gig. So I'll tell you about the first gig. I walk out on stage and I say my first joke. And it didn't just bomb. People didn't know the joke was done.
You were going to show me a DM.
Yeah, I absolutely. Oh no, I've got it here. I was just finishing that yarn. So this is a woman.
Sorry.
That's fine. Woman I grew up with. This is in 2014. So this is when I was like 20.
11 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, got a message from her. True, always thought you're going to grow up and become a comedian. And I said, it's still in the books. Haha, everyone says I should. She said, my sister says you're a failed musician. Is that why you're at home? Luce, eh?
Bro.
I wanna
Bro,
years
that's
from now,
savage.
if I get like a town hall or like big like meet, like I'm cracking it. I'm
That's
making
so
moves gig. I want to use that as the poster. I just want that to be like the
Some of the Kiwi comics I've had on talk about the tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand as being rife. And that really feels like one of those tall poppy stabs.
Yeah, it was a weird one, but we were also 20-year-olds, and I think 20-year-olds are just like
Mean.
fuckwits. Yeah, 100%. That's how I make peace with how I was as a 20-year-old, as being like, I was just like very recently a teenager, you know.
I just want to shout out to my 20-year-old audience.
How good.
Yeah.
Love that. You've been doing the podcast that long.
Awareness Month. No, my audience of 20-year-olds. See? Mixed up
Fantastic.
words again.
Fine. No, it's all good. I was just riffing, man. We're just having fun. That's all good. I'm just I think an hour in we'll find where deadpan and sarcasm. And sometimes I'm not riffing. I'm just getting my words mixed up. But yeah, bro. So yeah, first gig that I did, audience didn't realize the joke I told was a joke, and they would just sit there in silence. So the joke goes like this, right? I started working in an office. I'm an office manager. Or office. They say office because I'm working in an office. And manager, well, they just call me that to make me feel important. Yeah. And that feels like context. That's the joke. The joke's done. That's it. That was it. Silence. And I'm standing up on stage. It's now 9 seconds into my first ever set. And it's a packed out room, bro, because it's during the New Zealand Comedy Fest. I'm at Fringe Bar, where I'm doing my solo run a couple of weeks from now. 100 people there and silence. And the lizard brain took over, the amygdala. I like freaked out because I'm like, oh no, I hadn't planned for this. I'd planned for some noise and laughter and some back and forth, call and response. I can't be up here in silence for 6 minutes. I cannot do it. And so I put the mic back in the stand and I went, fuck you guys then. And bro, I don't do that. That's not a thing I do. I panicked so hard that I was like just like a raccoon backed into a corner with a broom. I was just like fucking got the claws out.
That's wild.
So fuck you then. And so now it's 15 seconds into my first gig.
You've got no laughs and you've just alienated the audience.
Dude, I worn my leopard print shirt and everything. I was like, I looked like fucking Tommy Lee in a breakdown. And then I was like, and then I said, and I've still got the audio. I could play it. I don't know if I want to hear it, but then I said, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so nervous. And everyone was like, whoa, you got this, yeah. And then I wouldn't say I crushed, but I went in with a greater confidence than I would find for a couple of years after. I just went all in and leant in. And it was all right. I don't know if there was any jokes in there, but there was certainly confidence. Yeah. But yeah, dude. And then for that first year, for 2021, I did like 6 spots. Yeah. So I've been like doing comedy, like trying to work at it for like 2.5, 3 years. I've been actually gigging. I did my first gig back then, but it's like I started drumming when I was 12. I wouldn't say I've been drumming for 20 years. It's like I first did it then, but I've been grinding for less time than that. So yeah. 3.5 year mark reasonably, because that first year it's like I go up, I can tell a joke, but I wasn't like doing more than 1 spot a month. And there was like another lockdown in there as well.
Yeah. Oh man, that's wild. So that was basically 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yeah, so
that first gig.
yeah, bro.
Fuck you gig.
The anniversary of the Fuck You gig is
That's a name for subsequent gigs.
well, bro, the anniversary of my Fuck You gig is the last night of my tour. So I'm doing 10 Melbourne shows, I'm doing 10 New Zealand shows. The last night at Fringe Bar, which is like half sold out already. It'll be packed out. It'll be just such a hot room. That's on the anniversary. Or it's the night before the anniversary, and I'll probably I'll have to tell that yarn as well because it's like it was on that stage 4 years prior. So it's but
when is it? What's the date?
6th to 9th of May. Yeah, and Wellington.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just hoping that between that first gig and today, that line I draw, it's the same angle going forward. Like I hope that 8 years in, there's relative momentum. You know what I mean? That whatever between flipping off a crowd and then having a bit of a New Zealand mini tour, gigging around in the UK, having a few punters through here, that there's some future version of that.
Oh man, you're doing it, mate. You're doing it. Like you're on the right track. Like you've moved to the other side of the world to pursue it, and you're doing it over there. Bigger audiences, tougher audiences, like you don't have your support network there.
Yeah, that's the loosest thing, right? Is going somewhere new. And the first month I was in the UK, there were no gigs because it was Christmas.
Yeah.
I moved over in December because I was like, I had it in my head that people are like, New Year, I'm going to do something for the new year. And I wanted to like get in ahead of that. So it didn't seem like some new year, new me. I was like, no, I want to do it now.
Yeah.
Bro, sunset at like 3 p.m. in Scotland. There was no gigs.
That's wild.
It was like freezing cold. And I just had like a month to do like no gigs, no nothing. I was like, oh, shit, I thought it'd be busier than this. So I just spent a month doing admin. And now I've got a spreadsheet with 17 tabs on it. I've got like all my accounting. I've got like all this. So I just went hard in the admin, made a website, got my business cards, did a show reel,
You are so organized, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
What is your background? Like what were you doing after high school?
Oh, dude, I've got the loosest background, man. So dropped out of school when I was like 15. I'll show you 15-year-old me because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, need to see that.
Because I'll
Do you look the same? Because I'm imagining you looking the same.
Yeah. It's like when you imagine your parents when they were a kid, it's just like the adult head on a kid's body. I'm gonna show you this and you're gonna say, oh, that's not you. Sorry. Yeah, dude. Toxic trait of mine is showing everyone this photo because it is just such a banger. Okay, here we go. Taking time during lockdown to remind you that this photo exists. I think that's what the caption was. Yeah. So dude, so this is me when I left school. I think every
Let me show this to the audience as well so they can see it. There you go. And they can find that on your Instagram?
I don't know if it's on Insta. It's on my Facebook.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So when...
Oh, bro. I was so off.
So if someone says to me, I'm a Virgo, I'm good in bed, that's the dude you're talking to. My inner child is a fucking virgin, bro. He is. So
Dude, you've transformed.
I leveled up from here as well because those glasses, they turn black in the sun.
Right.
So I was proper like,
you're a nerd.
I don't want to be hack and say I'm someone that'd like do something real bad at a school, but it's like I wasn't. Bro, I got a shell necklace on. I was in Fiji though, so it checks out.
Yeah.
I was just trying to, I don't know, man.
So you dropped out of school?
I dropped out of school when I just turned 16. I had in my head that I would, I don't know what I thought. I was just, the hyper focus I have now for comedy, I had on music because I'm a drummer. I was like, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to chase that dream. And I think a lot of comics I've chatted to when they were growing up thought they would be a famous musician.
On stage or something.
And that itch they're trying to scratch with the being on stage hasn't gone away. They're like, maybe I can't crack it with music, but I still want, And as a drummer, bro, it's awesome doing the comedy thing because you're at the back of the stage, and in comedy, it's like it's the U show, which is fun. So yeah, man, dropped out of school. I was unemployed for a few years, and I was just on the benefit. It was $137 a week on the benefit, so I'd like buy a pack of tailor-made cigarettes and cut them up into rollies and all the rest.
Do you want to smoke?
No, I'm all good, man. I haven't had a smoke in probably 11 years now, but I don't know. We'll relapse for art. We'll see how we go. Might have a chuff. But yeah, dude, so I ended up a couple years on the benefit, 20-year-old me. And then when I was... And then when I was
like Aussies would call that Centrelink.
Centrelink, yeah, that's the one, sorry, yeah.
Yep.
21-year-old me, unemployed. I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something cool. And that's when I got into barbering, because I was like, barbering's real rock and roll. You could train in 12 weeks to become a barber. So I learned how to cut hair.
That's pretty quick, bro. 12 weeks.
Oh, yeah, you need a couple of years to do it properly, but it was like, oh, well, okay, you know, like comedy schools that they have, they've got comedy schools. It's not going to make you the best comic, but it'll give you the foundations to go out and do it, and so I did this. I was barbering for a couple of years, and that was so eye-opening, because I ended up, my friends had come through, and they'd be getting cuts, and we'd be chatting away like we're chatting, and you have people, they come in, they're earning $20 an hour, they work in IT. 6 months later, how's the job? Yeah, I'm on $21 an hour, I work in IT. 6 months later, how you doing? Yeah, I'm a business analyst now, I get $100 plus GST. And all my friends around me, you are the 5 people closest to you and all the rest.
Yeah, right.
They were like leveling up through life, and I'm like cutting here. They're getting promotions, they're crushing it, and I was like, I love barbering, but I'm like, what if I just like lock in for 5 years? I didn't even know the phrase lock in back then.
Yeah.
I just used to say I wasn't always cringe, and so
the cliches are cliches for a reason, bro.
yeah, I end up being like, how do I get out of barbering and do something? So this trip to the UK 7 years back, I'm going to get into comedy, and I'm going to be a manager. I'm going to do all this stuff. That revelation I had back then was kind of the foundation for today. It just took me a while. So
Yeah.
I left the job barbering. I'd gone to the UK. I come back. I get a job managing a tea store. Real cool little spot in Wellington. I think I have. There's either going to be a tea bag or a cock ring. Yeah, wrong pocket. There we go. Cock ring with tea on it.
Did you legit just pull out what? That's the first time someone's pulled out a cock ring on the podcast.
That's so that goes hard. Tea Leaf Tea is an incredible place.
Beautiful.
And yeah, but no, that's if you come and see my show, you'll have context for that. So I worked at the tea store, and I was a manager there, and I learnt everything about tea. Had a great time there. I'd just been barbering a year prior. I'd been playing in a metal band, smoking durries and drinking, and just not doing a lot. So I've gone from playing in a band to barbering. Gone from barbering to now I've got manager on my resume, and I'm doing this for a couple of years.
Nice. And
then what did I do? There's a transport company. You've got Uber here. There was a competitor they have called Ola, and it was like an alternative. So, bro, I ended up as like the city manager for Ola in Wellington, like the ops manager. I was earning like decent money.
That's sick.
Wearing a shirt and tie. I'm not great at jobs, but I'm good at interviews, and you just need the interview to get the job.
That's
and once you're in there, it's just kind of like you walk into a room and you say it's about finding balance, and then you go home early.
Yeah.
So I worked for them. Lockdown happened. Ended up getting a job for a finance company back in New Zealand for about 3 years, just as the office guy. Kind of leveled up there. High growth tech company. Ended up as like the facilities manager. And there was a couple moments where I was like, I don't have any uni qualifications. I'm unqualified, but I'm running this property gig now.
Yeah.
And then got quite a decent government gig for about a year. And I think that was when I was like, okay, this kind of like leveled up a little bit too far now. Like I'm earning like a good wicket. I'm underqualified. I'm good at the people side of stuff.
Yes.
One of your team's like a bit upset, and they're not saying anything, but you can read between the lines. You can empathize. That's my thing. The people side of people.
Yeah.
The actual what are we doing today? I was like, fucking no clue. I was pretty useless at that.
Right.
But I'd gone from being unemployed, smoking durries, playing in a metal band, and within kind of like 5-6 years, like this big government property gig. And that made it real exciting to pull the pin on it, because I don't have rich folks to fall back on. I don't have a safety net. I just saved a bit of coin for a year, and then only enough to last me like 6 months in the UK. I was like, this is so exciting, because I'm going from like something real cozy. I could buy a house, Labrador, wife, and just lock in, have a kid, and that's just me, and I'm fine. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's so exciting to throw this all away, because this is so set up around me. But bro, my apartment in Wellington that I was renting, the down to like the handles on the bathroom cupboards, everything was just so nice and exactly how I wanted it. It was my little space. I had my incense, my vibes, my Temu light, my couch that would like fold down for the Virgos, and then and I just sold everything and left my job and just come over to do comedy. And it's so exciting, because if I don't crack it, it's like I don't have a partner or children or anything. And if I can't do it with a blank canvas and with nothing holding me back, then I probably wasn't going to crack it.
Yeah.
But what I wouldn't want is to end up with a family and be resentful and be like, I could have made it. It's like, well, let's see if I can make it, because I have zero holding me back. Like, I'm doing this with you. I'm going for a run after I'm doing a gig, grab some sushi. Like, my day is just open to try and grind,
What an awesome decision you made.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it is. Yeah.
But you're in it now.
Yeah.
And it feels right.
Yeah, and a wise man recently taught me that 31's not the age to worry, so it's chill, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No. I mean, that's wild, man. I mean, that kind of level of self-awareness is profound, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't ask themselves that question, and suddenly they're 2 kids in, and then they go, fuck.
Is that, bro, is it not Crowded House? Is it, who's the fella? Split Ends?
Split Ends?
Old mate.
The Finn brothers.
Yeah, the How Did I Get Here? Is that Once in a Lifetime? Talking Heads. Bro. Talking Heads. You may find yourself and my beautiful wife and my beautiful car.
Love that
You're like,
song.
how did I get here? Bro.
And the days go by, turning water under rock, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like,
That is a
you may
great
ask
song.
yourself, this is not, yeah. It's just like that, bro. It's like, do you have a family yourself?
I've got a kid.
Fantastic. How old can I, is it
She's
chat about?
16, yeah.
16, cool,
Yeah, she's
fantastic.
16. And so the other night, actually, I was a hero for once.
Yeah,
Because when you're a parent, you're not always like
yeah,
cool to them.
yeah.
But I went to Chris Franklin's gig that he did for the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, nice.
And my kid lives in Queensland, right? And so, and she plays rugby, and she loves rugby, because that's what they love rugby up there. I sent her a text. I didn't expect her to reply. Just saying, hey, I'm here at a gig with the Melbourne Storm. And she's like, no way. She's like, is Xavier Coates there? He's my favourite player.
Yeah.
And I turned around. I didn't know who he was, so I Googled him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, that looks like him.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, he was standing right next to me. And I was like, sorry, bro, are you Xavier? And he's like, yeah. I was like, my kid loves you. Do you mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah.
And then
Amazing.
recorded a message for her.
Dude.
He recorded, and she, like, her messages were like caps, OMG.
Yeah.
I don't know what PMG means, but she just started like.
I feel she's just excited for an OMG and threw a P in.
Props, because they're right next to each other.
A
on
little
the
typo.
keyboard. Yeah, she was so
Unreal.
cute, and then she called me up, and she was like, she sends me a message. This is legit made my day, and
That's
I'm like,
great.
fuck, that is all you want as a dad.
100%.
To hear that. 16 years, I finally heard it.
And you talk about, it's interesting, you talk about being a hero and that as a parent, and I think like it's only maybe 25 to 30, like the last couple years that I've probably had the yarns with mum and been like, I'm a fully formed adult man now. And then you have the chats about like the gratitude chats where I'm like, fuck, thanks for everything. Like grateful as a kid and stuff. But when you're an adult, like this is what's weird for me, and this will happen to you one day. You're going to both be adults sat on a couch together. You're going to be chatting like us. There's the kid adult thing. Eventually you'll just both be adults. And I'm sat chatting to my mum and I'm like, thank you for everything. I'm like, I see what you are doing and what you did, and the looking at everything through the lens of sacrifice and that as an adult. And I'm like, you're so cool. You didn't have to do that for me, and I think your daughter will be grateful about the video and bits and pieces, and I imagine there'll be nights where she's a brat because she's a teenage girl, but then a few years from now, you'll be adults having a conversation about that, and she'll be looking at that in hindsight with you as another adult, and that's trippy to me, bro. That's something that, I imagine will be very rewarding as a parent, that one day you're just both grown people hanging out.
Again, and that awareness, bro, that you have that, and you're like here now thanking your mum for what she did. I think.
Oh, bro, she's I got this done in Newcastle. I got her name tattooed. Yeah, got her name tattooed a few years back. I added the eagle recently to just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you talk about your mum. Like, I think I saw one of your stories or your reels. You were talking about how you were coming back to Australia, but you snuck in a secret trip to.
Oh, dude, round trip to New Zealand just to see her, because I love her to bits, man. I've seen longest I've gone without seeing her, probably like 5 weeks during the lockdown. Move over to the UK. I haven't seen her for 4 or 5 months. I keep telling her, end of April, we'll catch up, start of May, somewhere around there. Or let me know when to book leave off work. No, just sometime, ambiguous time around there. And then ahead of Melbourne, just snuck over to New Zealand for 2 nights. Showed up at her work in disguise, and I was too excited to commit to the bit. I walk up to the counter with speed dealer sunglasses on and a hat and a jacket.
What kind of workplace is this?
She works at a hardware store in a village, and I rolled up, and I was just like being a weird customer. I'd practice it back in Edinburgh. I was just like, do you sell spanners here? Just like rolled up. while she was serving a customer, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, you have a customer." She's like, "Yeah, we do." And it was funny because I got to.
She didn't recognize you?
No, because think about it. Like, if you saw Michael Jackson walk past, you're like, "It's not Michael Jackson," because he's not around. I was just in the UK. I was like, she wasn't expecting that.
Of course.
And as she's serving the customer, it's like I know she's busy, but I took off the sunglasses and the hat, and I was like surprised, and I could see like the little. Like the loading rainbow apple wheel in her head as she figured it out, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, this is my son." I gave her a big hug, and the person she was serving was a bit older and was obviously a mum herself, and she completely just got what was happening. She's like, "Oh, I'm in no rush to buy these hammers. You have this moment." She's like, "I can see the value in this." Bro. Yeah, it was real cool. Gave her a big hug, and I was like shaking because I was so nervous about it, and because I started drinking coffees. And
bro, you are a sweet son, man. You are a sweet kid. You
are. I just need something to chat about on Hinge when people ask what I'm like. So it's all. It's just like, I don't have a lot else going for me. Oh yeah, I'm good to my mum. But yeah,
that's a lot, bro. That's
cool. No, she's great. Love her to bits, man. She's super cool. Yeah.
What about your dad? Do you have much of a relationship?
Yeah, lost him a few years back. Yep. Behind the wardrobe of all places. No, he passed away a half decade ago. Yeah,
right, yeah.
He was. I'll chat about that because you asked. He was. It's probably the reason I got into comedy. I'd say, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's probably why I got into comedy. Bro, my eulogy was my first stand-up routine essentially because bro, everyone's so devastated. It's the saddest day in the world. It's a Monday morning. It's like. Yeah. It's not something anyone ever gets over. It's just something you live with. And I was up there, dude, and it was real funny because
I had a crowd.
I had a crowd. I was working the front row. I was like, "So what are you here for?" Yeah, what brings you in today? And then I was chatting and I kept cocking up a sentence. I kept that thing I was talking about, tripping over my words if I'm a bit nervous. I kept doing that. And I went, and everyone kind of laughed because I'd done it 2 or 3 times on the same sentence. And I grabbed like the bendy mic and I went, "Mondays, am I right?" It was like the funeral of a parent. And I was just like, I was like Garfield, bro. I was like, Mondays. But yeah, so I've always been close to mum, but it's made me closer, all of that, 100%. And it's like, you can be sad about people that aren't here, or you can just like, be close and appreciate your time with the people you do have, I don't think that's new or necessarily profound. I think it's like, you got finite time with the people you love, so you just show up dressed up in disguise and you traumatize them periodically.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, bro.
But you mentioned he was the reason you got into comedy. Was it something he said or inspired you to do? Was he a comic himself? Like what?
Oh no, I think it could be. I've thought about this a few times. It could even just be like a male ego thing where I'm just kind of, like the idea of legacy and stuff. Like he's not around, so I need a fire under my ass to be someone.
Right. Yeah.
And I just kind of
kind of like an abstract kind of motivation.
I suppose. Yeah. It's just kind of like I don't just want to sit around do it. What I was doing when I was 18. Just playing in a band and not doing a lot and bumming off of the Centrelink, as you call it. It's like I want to do something and be someone, and I want to grind real hard. He was into comedy. He's super funny, and we just like real niche humor that we bounce off of. And I think like when you're a kid and any behavior that is affirmed by a parent, you want to do more of that. Yeah. Like if you say something real smart or you're real brainy and a parent lights up, you want to go and do more of that. You want you want to please your parents. And for me, it was like, with humor, some of the stuff I would say would crack him up, and then I was like, well, I want to do more of that. That's a good feeling, Like he thinks I'm funny, I want to be funny. He was real funny himself, and just from young. I was thinking about this the other day. Yeah. I think you could argue my first stand-up routine was when I was 5, because there was this school thing that we did, like this end of summer program performance thing, where we all got up on stage and it demonstrated out what flavor of autism we were born with. And my thing was I got up and I did what was essentially a stand-up routine. So from a real young age, I was always trying to be funny. Yeah. I'll tell you the joke. What was the joke? It was like the duck going into the hardware store. Have you heard that one?
No.
Oh, it's a shit joke, bro. But the guts is it's like the 1, 2, 3 rhythm. So it's like duck goes into a hardware store, asks for nails, they don't have any. Goes back, asks for nails, don't have any. What is it like? It goes back in, asks for nails. If you keep asking for nails, I'm gonna like hammer your bill to the wall or whatever. So he goes back in. Got any hammers? No. Okay, go back in. Got any nails? Or he's like asking for bread or something. But when I told the joke, it was like set up, twist, punchline. I edged the crowd for like 5 minutes. This duck went in like 17 times asking for nails, and people are like, bro, we've ascertained that the store has no nails. We're working with you on the idea that this duck can talk and he needs hardware. And I just kept it going. I just kept edging them. And in hindsight, it was almost anti-comedy in a sense. It was like the Family Guy routines where it's funny again because it just keeps going.
Yeah.
But, yeah, bro. Yeah, nah, always. I mean, like, creative endeavors like this. Like, I used to always make videos when I was a kid and stuff. Have you always done stuff like this when you were younger?
No. I got
into recent.
I went to film school so randomly.
Oh, sick.
I got accepted into film school. I'd never held a video camera before.
Right.
So it was just
yeah.
But that's where I sort of got this the passion for telling stories.
Yeah, nice.
And documentary filmmaking was kind of the thing that I gravitated towards.
Sick. How good.
And then the podcast was sort of born out of wanting to tell stories.
And how long have you run this for?
Well, similar to your story, it's like I started 6 years ago.
Yeah.
March 2019, I did my first recording.
Yeah.
Just on the back of a porch out in Belgrave. But I didn't release that episode for a year. And in that first year, I recorded like 6 episodes. But it wasn't until I came back from Europe at the end of 2022 that I was like, no, I got to take this seriously now. So, yeah, the last couple of years have been 22 eps, and I've got a production goal this year of doing 40 eps.
But it's that thing that you describe where you don't try and do it all at once, get the flashiest camera, get the flashiest mic. It's like, do you find that it's easy to get caught up in perfectionism when it's like, nah, just like progress, right?
100%.
Just to do something, to just get something done and work towards and slowly chip away, right?
Yeah.
To just start on the patio with the iPhone and go from there.
Yeah. And I'll say like the first part is the hardest part. It's the bit where you're shit.
Yeah.
And like the first episode, I must have spent like 20 hours editing it, and it was like half hour long. Well, because I was learning how to use the software. And all that,
of course.
Right? So like,
and the software's so much better now as well.
Yeah. But also with audio only, you're scrutinizing sound waves.
Yeah.
And all you can see visually on your is like the long pauses.
Yeah.
That are between words.
It's
right?
trippy, chopping up the audio.
But then what I found, because I was talking to you before about how I was making the excuse of like, oh no, video will be too much.
Yeah.
I'm cutting way less now because there's those facial expression nuances.
Yeah, it's more engaging.
That now it's like, that feels right. It feels wrong to delete that pause in the audio because there's so much happening visually.
There's nuance there that you wouldn't catch in conversation. You know what I learned recently? This might be common knowledge. I find this trippy, and you can see this editing audio. Sentences are written as word, space, word, space, word, space, word. When we talk in sentences, it's a continuous noise. And I didn't know that, and a lot of people probably don't know that. You see a conversation, you think it would be like, hello, how are you today? But when we talk, we just have this like sound wave till the end of the sentence. That must be hard to navigate, chopping that up where one noise ends and the other starts.
Bro, I was zooming in to like the 10,000th of a second.
Yeah.
To just cut things to make it smooth.
Yeah.
I was just OTT.
Just editing out the world's fastest slur that someone said. You're like, how do they say that? It's like a racist hummingbird just dropped that. I know you could say that in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loose. I bought something for us to try.
What?
Have you, it's normally for horses. You heard of ketamine?
You got ketamine? Yes, I have heard of ketamine.
Yeah, Whitaker's before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, I know, someone can bring you something that's a surprise sometime. I got Whitaker. It's so good. Lay into it. I guess we're in Australia. It's not that foreign.
Well, let's bust it out.
Yeah,
sure.
Thanks,
bro.
I make such a mess of chocolate when I open it. It looks like a Labrador got into it, dude. You should see like the state of anything I open. I just like, if I was ever to burgle a house, I would get caught on the Nutella fingerprints on the cupboard, man. Yeah.
If you were Goldilocks.
Yeah.
And visiting the house of the three bears.
Yeah.
Like there would have been clear evidence in every room that you were there.
I'll tell you how dumb I am. When you were saying Goldilocks, in my head I was picturing Rapunzel. I was thinking, what's she doing with the three bears? Is she fucking abseil in there? How does that work?
This is really good.
Yeah, it's mean. It's quite cool, man. Before buying some in Australia, I got in touch with the bank and got out a loan to fucking afford this from Coles, which was quite nice.
Thank you for doing that, bro. I appreciate that.
It's all good, man. I was looking at my $13.50 this morning. I was thinking, It's burning a hole in my pocket. This is weighing me down. No, it was like $8 or something. But
I do feel guilty for asking my guests to bring food, but a lot of the time, since I started doing it, I did it the first time this year. I was like, I want you to bring food. There's so many stories coming out, but like classic moments. I always talk about this moment where Joel Temperley, who's a local comic, brought stale hot cross buns that he bought that day, apparently. They were so stale, they just fell apart. Like as soon as I tried to tear it, it just crumbled into dust.
Yeah.
But we had a crowd gathered around at the time. So all these people were like pissing themselves laughing at this kind of like, I tried to eat it. It was like, I was just like, nah,
Crumbs.
bro.
So you
He
know
was
what
so embarrassed.
you know what you do with leftover cake is you just wait till your next party. And you just tell the youngest couple of fellas there that it's hash cake. And you wait half an hour and they just placebo themselves into getting high and shutting up. I've seen it done before, bro, where it's like, oh, we got this week-old cake. There's hash cake and a half an hour later, they're like, bro, it's like, I don't know. Or maybe it's like early onset, like food poisoning. Could be one of two.
I did panic just there where you said you brought ketamine. I panicked.
Did you?
I
Oh, why?
Well, because
That'd be pretty
I'm
funny.
not really good at setting boundaries
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah. I've never tried drugs, eh? I've tried. I smoked a bit of weed.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. I literally. Bro, I'll tell you this.
Ooh.
Ketamine's
Ketamine's the scariest one I've had.
They all sound pretty awesome, and I know I'd be a real good drug user. I'd be great. I would be really good. I'd enjoy it. I
You could
reckon.
pass as one, to be fair.
Dude, here's the thing. I say this in stand up. I don't look like I do heroin, but I don't look like I never have. I don't look like I am, but I look like I was. You know.
I'm buying that.
Yeah, 100%. I look like I'm selling it into a story about like finding your why. You know, like I'm a former addict. But no, last drink I had, what was I? 18.
Oh, you don't drink anymore.
Well, this is the thing, bro. 11 years, 12, whenever it was, 18. I was 18. 12. It's like 12 years since I had a beer. No exciting story, no alcoholism. I just thought I'd give it a rest. And then about a month back, I was in Amsterdam with a friend. And I was like, well, I'm not going to smoke weed because I don't want to get all like psychosis and come over here and just be all like weird. Because it would just linger for a while in my body, bro. Like I'd have a hangover for a week. So I was like, well, I want to unwind. I've been like trying to grind in the UK for a few months. I haven't had like a break from comedy as such. I want to switch off from the night. I have a couple Jack Daniels and a cigar, and I had them and I was smoking the cigar and I was like, oh, why do I think this is my idea of fun? This is awful.
Yeah.
And I was as sick as I've been in my life, bro. I was bedridden for a week.
Jack Daniels and Coke?
Yeah, just two of them.
Bro.
Just two JDs and Coke, and I think I just caught the flu in Amsterdam. To be fair, I think the whiskey was fine, but that it's a bizarre experience to abstain for so long and then to do it. It felt like it was almost a weird thing to say. It was almost like arousing in a sense. It was like because it was such like a taboo thing to then do it. Felt so like
You're
naughty.
in Amsterdam. You had to do something.
Well, no, it's the 5th time I've been to Amsterdam, and the first 4 I did nothing. So I was just kind of like having lemonades, and
This time it's different.
this time was different. So yeah, dude. So that was a weird time. But no, I've never tried kit, never
That's
tried
so
anything
good,
like
bro.
that. It sounds awesome though, and people can moderate. Can
It
you? You
sounds awesome.
say you can't moderate. You struggle moderating.
I can moderate. It's just like absolutely can moderate.
Yeah,
Booze is a bit harder,
yeah,
but it's just I'm very spontaneous in the moment.
yeah.
Like, so if someone's breaking something out and they're
Yeah.
like, do you want some? It's 99% of the time I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It's like an
kinda
impulsivity. That's yours now.
Yeah, it's an impulse. Oh, no, please.
No, have it.
Well, let's leave it in
It's
the
fine.
middle somewhere.
No, because I'll keep reaching. This is what I mean, though. I'll keep reaching for. I never have that in my house. I'll polish off a fucking block. Be like
This
a
will be my
Labrador
lunch.
that is to get a stomach pump.
This is so good.
It goes hard. It's great.
Oh, I
Like,
love it.
What I love about stuff like
Creamy
that,
milk.
the reason that like stuff like this is so good as well, it's not a new idea. There's like 101 fucking first year science. We haven't evolved to understand stuff like this. We haven't evolved to understand cocaine or dating apps or chocolate. And this is so stimmy for your brain. Your brain has this and it lights up and it thinks it's like really rare in nature. So like amygdala wants to demolish the whole block. We haven't evolved to understand that like what Coles is. So we just like, I eat this and my brain is like, if you don't have this, you'll die, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Yep, for
It's
sure.
weird.
No, I feel that about chocolate. I smash, yeah, that's the thing, the impulsivity part. Actually, my next tattoo is going to be just a D with like one of those overlines, like a mathematical one. And underneath is an I, D over I.
Was it like
discipline over impulse?
Oh, that's not like a diversity inclusion tattoo, because that'd be like hectic after all
not
the
a
layoffs
D
in the
and I
States.
fucking tattoo. Pardon my French. No, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. I'm very self-aware.
We're scratching the surface of something here. we absolutely are.
Well,
there's a rabbit hole that you're stopping yourself going down right now.
Yeah, I'll try not to get political on this podcast because I believe in bringing in the things that bring people together.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Stories about how we've, our hardships, our triumphs and stuff like that is
Yeah.
far more important to me than the things that
creating
tear us
division.
apart. But it seems like the crowd, like Melbourne specifically, loves talking about stuff that's divisive. And they want it. Some people want to be divisive. And they want to test you. They want to test where you stand on things. And overarching, no matter how I feel about the whole DEI thing, because there's a lot of merit to it, overarchingly, it is a topic that's forced down people's throat in order to see which camper you win. And I don't like that. I want to know, when I'm spending time with someone like this, I want to know about the things that bring us together.
Yeah, 100%.
That we have in common.
Yeah, definitely. Like things that we've hit on today that 100%. I think at the end of the day,
Far more important to me.
Yeah, my only take on that, I think identity is just massive for people, right? That's why the algorithms do so well, because we've now got a robot on our pocket rectangle figuring out exactly who we are and serving us just that. So
but
identity is massive for people.
Yeah, and it's so true. And one of the things that I had this light bulb moment about recently was is that algorithms are the biggest problem in society. Because if you, let's just say the recent US elections, let's just say you took a side.
Yeah.
You've got this algorithmic kind of scientific thing happening on your social media channels, and that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So you're basically saturated. Anytime you open any app, you're going to get things that force you to be far more extreme into whichever side you're on.
100%. It's making you think that whole world is just that.
Yeah.
Like we open our phones, we think all that's happening outside our front door is stand-up comedy, because that's all my For You pages, and sometimes people have cats, because I get a bit of those as well, right? It's just serving you a cookie cut of it's affirming viewpoints, and when those viewpoints are dangerous viewpoints, it's making those people worse, is kind of what I'm hearing.
Exactly. But not only that, but it's once they go further down that track, it's harder to bring them back to a point
100%.
where they can rationally kind of sit opposites across from someone who has an opposing viewpoint and just listen and hear them out, or respect them for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
To bring them back to a place of common ground is near impossible for some of these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm really mindful of that divisive stuff.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The biggest reason that I mean, and the DEI thing is just one of those things that's been used a lot for division. And like I said, there's so much merit to it, but I think the divisiveness side of it trumps that for me.
I think would you agree with the idea as well? Like,
It's getting sunny.
yeah, bro. I think in every...
Yeah, bro. Oh, fly time.
Yeah.
Flight.
Boom. How are you, sir?
Excuse me, sir. Do you speak English?
Yeah.
Great.
Come and see my show. If you use this, you get tickets for $7. Come and see it. I'd love to have you there.
Comedy show.
Yeah.
Comedy. Comedian.
It's comedy festival.
International
Yeah.
comedian.
I'm in North Melbourne at Club Voltaire. Come check that out.
What location will
If you scan the code, all the information's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Club Voltaire.
North
6 p.m.
Melbourne. North Melbourne. Are you a local?
No,
No.
the Philippines.
Oh, from the Philippines. North Melbourne's just where the Queen Victoria Market is.
It's like 20-30 minute walk from here, short tram ride. Would love to have you there, man. Come check it out. Yeah. No, that's yours.
You
Take
keep
it.
that.
Yeah, you have that.
That's a souvenir.
Okay,
Take it back to the Philippines.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks for your time, bro. Thank you. Yeah, man. All I'd say on that, it's like I think every group has a few loud people, and then the loud people get coverage.
Exactly.
I think
so true.
So you look at what's happening in New Zealand. You know, like I'm not doing a self plug here, but it's like let's take a quick look at New Zealand news. Everyone's out folding fucking fitted sheets in public, you know, and I'm just one person who's real loud about what I'm into, and it's easy to think, you know, but this is just like a little group of society with some loud people. I believe by and large, I think the overwhelming majority of people are pretty neutral and pretty reasonable.
And pretty good.
I think about who can use bathrooms, who can do what. I think most people
100%.
are pretty reasonable and logical and common sense, and I think broadly. And then you get a few loud internet people, and then we get trapped into these little cycles of thinking everything's like that. And the problem is we go in and we do this and we go in circles. The algorithm radicalizes us. That's fine on the app, but then you take it out into the real world. It's like, oh, why have you got internet opinions in like the real world? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why bringing video game logic to like real life?
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah.
There's so much good happening around us all the time. Just great interactions.
Oh, 100%, dude. I saw those two homeless fellas having a fist fight outside of Coles.
I did, yeah.
People ran in straight away to break that up.
Yeah.
If you see a fight, if you see two people fighting on the street, when do you run in and break it up, and when do you not? What's the line for you?
Depends how sketchy they are, bro.
Yeah,
like if they're full swinging, I got to look after myself.
Yeah, depends how sketchy they are is such a good parameter, I feel.
Yeah.
Sketchiness.
I mean, if they're kind of just having a bit of a standoff, and there's just like, I'll sort of just be like, whoa. But I've only ever done that maybe once or twice.
Okay.
Because I'm like, no, I don't need to get involved in this. Like, my safety is the most important thing to me.
That feels reasonable, eh? Yeah, balancing personal safety with what's happening with two strangers. Yeah, tricky, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to get involved in this situation. I would like to see it end.
I hope you're not talking about the podcast.
No.
I don't want to have to start throwing fists. Okay, bro, I'm sorry. I'll get a different snack next time.
Yeah, where did you take us? Well, you took us to... Fuck. Yeah, all right. Okay, I'm just trying to backtrack a little bit. But
yeah, I do this, I'm sorry.
And then... Okay, let's talk about the fitted sheet thing. Because you told me about it the other night, and I didn't have TikTok on my phone, so I was, and then whatever. Yeah. And then I saw it. But, like, explain it to anyone that's watching that hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, so I'm running a show in New Zealand. I'm the 10 nights I'm doing here in Melbourne, I'm practicing the gear for New Zealand. I'm trying to get it good. Show's called Dan Boerman Folds a Fitted Sheet on his own. I've been planning it since, like, September last year. And the through line is like it's a nod to our better halves. It's a nod to all good, bro. Cheers. It's a nod to how useless men are without a better half, or without like how chicks are broadly just better than dudes, and we have a hard time navigating life without the better gender. So the show's called that. It's a nod to me moving out on my own and realizing, like, I never learned how to fold a fitted sheet by myself. Like, someone just always knew how.
Hard, bro.
Bro, you're telling me. Try doing it in Winds in front of 700 people. So I put up, I got a pal of mine to put all these ambiguous posters around Wellington, real similar to these, the flyers I was handing out to that gentleman just there. QR code, Helvetica, Canva.
I like your style, black and white.
Oh, cheers. Oh, it's too stimmy. It's too overwhelming. Yeah. Well, you imagine slapping it on a road like this, it'd stand out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I was doing at the Edinburgh Fringe last year. There was so much noise and colour and writing, so I just stripped back the posters. And so I put up these things. Come watch me fold a fitted sheet. April 7, 1 p.m. outside the Taco Bell. These signs around town. And the QR code just linked to an Instagram. And within like a week or two, I had like 600-700 followers. I was like, oh, this is going to be real big. Yeah. And I paid for a couple posters. It went like a little bit viral on Reddit, went viral on some meme pages, and people started sharing it. And I offered no details. I didn't link it to anything. If people Googled Fitted Sheet Wellington, my show would have come up, but people were like, what's happening here? So the night after surprising my mum, flying back to New Zealand, jet lagged as all, went down Cuba Street. Bro, it was at 1 p.m. I was folding the sheet and doing this performance thing, which served to just exit flyer for my show.
So you're in a public place?
Yeah.
Like a park or
Centre of Wellington, Cuba Street.
Cuba Street.
Similar, like a mall, pedestrian space. Right.
Like Burke Street Mall kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. 12:25 p.m. So it's 35 minutes till showtime. There's people showing up.
You're kidding.
35 minutes out. 20 minutes out. 10 minutes out. Oh, no, it was quarter two, my buddy had to go in. It was like crowd control. Like the council had been notified. A couple like cops poked their nose in because it's 50 meters from a bus lane, but you need to manage crowds if they're like nearing 1,000. So 700 people showed up, and I was so nervous because I wasn't just like relaying information. I was like doing a performance, and I'd never done any like street theater performance stuff. Show up with my sheet over my head, walk out into the crowd, and the place went fucking bananas because everyone got the joke, and they got like, it's like the bottle flipping people were doing 8 years ago. People getting hyped over something unremarkable. People kind of understood the assignment. All Gen Z, all super young. people, I'm out there with the sheet, I'm playing like Chasing Status, Bot It Done, the song. I'm playing that through the speaker, through the Bluetooth, and I'm getting people all hyped up. I like put on safety goggles because I'm like, the council has concerns about safety. I'm wearing these. And 700 phones on me is the most terrifying feeling because I've never had 700 cameras on me, and I'm thinking, if I misstep, if I say something a bit dusty, like I'm done. Not that that would happen. Not that I'm always on the verge of getting cancelled 4 years in. But all these cameras around me, folded the sheet, place went absolutely bananas. Absolutely just lost their mind. The news was there. One news was there. I got on like breakfast news the next morning. Breeze, The Edge.
They had you on? They were like, let's invite this guy on.
They didn't have me on, but it was the PR from it was remarkable because they were like, oh, do we have any idea who this guy is? Yeah, his name's Dan Boerman and he's doing a show. And this is like on the news. I'm like, this is incredible PR for my show. Because I did all of this from the UK because I wanted to get exposure and PR from overseas. No, I'm all good. Thank you, bro. Yeah, and it took off. We only had 100 flyers. The flyers went immediately. I autographed 17 bus cards. Someone wanted to get my autograph tattooed, and I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea, but it's going to be a real dumb idea in a week, so I suggest you don't do that. Sign my flask. I'm going to sign the bottom of your flask, because if you don't like my comedy, you've now ruined a really nice bottle. Every time you're thirsty, you're going to be like, this fuck. Yeah, it was incredible. Right, and then
so good.
After performance was 10 minutes, and there was a full hour. It was exactly an hour to the minute of people taking photos, people interviewing for different news outlets. And that night I only sold 2 tickets from the gag, but in the last week I've sold 100 tickets. Plus I've got the New Zealand tour I'm doing as well. So it was like, it shifted. It probably shifted like 130, 140 tickets. But as you'll know, any gig we go to, this is several weeks away. I think the real value is that it's planted the seed and people buy tickets the night before.
Yeah.
I think it's bro, the reason I'm in New Zealand and Australia, the reason I'm down under as well is just to remind people I exist. I didn't want to go to the UK, maybe not crack it over there, and then people in New Zealand forget about me, So it was kind of like, hey, I exist, what's up? And this did such a funny job of doing that. And I tell you what was tripping, man. There's a couple of Reddit threads about the event.
Yep.
And there were a couple of little short chains of people arguing about my comedy, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Okay.
Someone's like, I won't take any Dan Boerman slander in this sub, and someone's like, oh, no, I wasn't saying I didn't like him, but, he folds a sheet better than he does stand-up. I was like, strangers have opinions about me now. That's cool. That feels like a milestone. That feels real cool that there's people chatting about my stand-up, people that I don't know. I was like, that's so awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So it was a silly little event. Some guy took the sheet. I at the end of the performance, I stuffed the sheet in a rubbish bin because I thought it was funny. And then the papers got all mad. They're like, we're trying to get a photo shoot of you and you threw your sheet out. So I pulled the sheet out. Some guy waited half an hour to get the sheet, got me to sign it, took it home. Gen Z, they're just not busy people.
Yeah, right.
Just had a lot of spare time. And it was just all Gen Z, which is cool because it's like, damn, now that's a percentage of my sales and demographic in Wellington. I've had to think about that during the show, that there will be young people there, like lot of queer kids there, a lot of like LGBT community, like super progressive.
Yep.
Hundreds of people coming to watch me.
Yeah.
So you think about that when you do stand up. Do you just accept that? Oh, what if I have material that might cause friction for them, or do you like lean in and be like, these are my followers. This is.
Yeah. I think there's an expectation setting piece that can sort of make that process a bit smoother. But I mean, what a hell of a PR stunt.
It was so silly. It was on the project here, like on their social media. But I think getting on Breakfast News was crazy. Like having a journo talking about me and being like, his name was Dan Boerman and he's doing the show. I'm like, that's so, like, I've clipped that up into reels. I've clipped that up into 5 reels for each city I'm performing in and boosted them with the captions and stuff.
Nice.
And like the audio underneath it of the crowd like going nuts for me, Bro, they were chanting, hey, fold that sheet.
I saw it.
That was so silly. They committed to the bit for me. They were in on the joke.
That's beautiful.
So funny.
Yeah. Like
silly.
to have that kind of buy-in from people.
Yeah.
And to have them get behind it. Because like, I don't know, it could have gone so many different ways.
I don't want to think about how it could have gone, because for every day it goes well, there's 9 days where it bombs and 10 people show up, and one of them's an ex-girlfriend and she's there with her husband and she's like, oh, good to see that you're still trying to crack this, Dan. That's happened before.
Chick from that message before.
Well, no, that happened before. I was doing loads of manic stuff a couple years back. I was going through a breakup. I booked out the town hall in Martinborough, the village where I'm from, 200-seater. I'm like, I'm going to sell this out. Homecoming comedy. I was like a few months in. Booked out this town hall. 27 people showed up. So it's a very empty and very big room, and I've spent $2,000 marketing it and getting comics in.
No way.
Yeah, like newspaper, centerfold, in the village I'm from, so it costs like $12. And
Yeah.
started the gig, 27 people, half time 14, so half of them left midway through. I was emceeing it. I'd never emceed before. Front row was this lady I fancied when I was like 17. I'd gotten high and left a box of Cadbury roses in her mailbox, which is like, in hindsight, quite predatory behaviour. And I do this gig, and she was there with her husband and little kid. And she was looking at me, and I was looking at her, and we said a lot without saying anything. It's kind of like, glad to see you're at least doing well, because I'm dying up here. But
Bro.
yeah,
What a wild ride you're on, man. This is so good.
it's fun, man.
It's
It's fun.
inspiring to hear.
Yeah, it's cool. I think.
Big wins, little wins.
Yeah, there's a comic from back in New Zealand was saying, I can't remember who, in a green room in Auckland, they were like, comics, and you probably do this yourself as a creative, like, there's the path of least resistance, and then there's the, like, wouldn't it be funny if path? There's the kind of like, what if I did this, you know? I could do an Instagram ad, or what if I fold a sheet in public, and creatives, comics finding themselves making decisions that will maybe make a good story, like subconsciously choosing a path of chaos for doing stuff rather than what's logical and sound. It's like impulsive for the sake of this will make a yarn, and the fitted sheet thing has, you know.
Well, I can relate to that totally. I mean, that's how this happened.
Yeah, it's actually quite easy, by the way, folding a sheet.
Okay.
I reckon give it a bash. It's like, it's
Can you
real simple.
talk me through it?
Yep. So imagine you got your sheet,
Yeah.
and imagine
It's got the weird corners and
Yeah, bro.
the the stretchy
Yeah.
kind of
So you only
thing.
worry about the stretchy bit at the end. So you need to imagine that. Just think of it like a duvet cover, something that you're inside of with the four corners.
Yeah.
And you've got you put your fingers inside, you get the two long corners, and then you fold it away from you. So now you turn it around. So all you need to imagine is you've got an inside out fitted sheet, fingers in the corners. All you do is you tuck one over the other. And you move that to the side, we're not even thinking about that. And then you tuck the other one inside the other. Then you tuck 1 and 2 plus 3 and 4. Now you've got 4 corners, and then you lay it down. And you've got something that has a bit of a right angle, but a lot of mess. And then you fold, and it's done. So it's, I learned the night before how to do it. And I was panicking because I just knocked back an Americano. I was at my mum's house trying to fold a sheet, and I'm like, I don't have it. I've told 700 people I'm going to do this, and I don't know how. Yeah. And it was windy as well when I did it. Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. It's like, you know, can't go practicing that on a plane. People see you flapping that around.
I would have thought you'd have this down pat when you come up with this idea.
No, it's I chase the ideas and the thoughts and the activities that are like sexy and fun rather than the important ones. Like for me, for comedy, I was having this yarn with someone this morning. I spend so much time on the marketing and the sales, and not enough on the writing. So like market a show real heavy because that's fun and sexy and visible and tangible, the amount of sales, the amount of revenue, rather than being like, what's a good joke?
What's the biggest skill that you've acquired in this time? Like, so you're a professional comic now, yeah?
Yeah, it's all I'm doing is just comedy.
So,
yeah.
So, I mean, what's the biggest sort of learning curve that you've sort of had to experienced?
I was told a couple years back that if you're chill in a car ride, if I can road trip with you for a few hours, if I'm good enough yarns to be in a car with you and tour around,
Sure.
I'll get as much or more opportunities than the funniest person you know.
Right.
I just think there's a lot of merit in just being not even that you should be a good bastard or a great person, just not a shit cunt. Like, not I'll never slander other comics or talk ill of anyone, and I'm not in a rush to. But I think socially, just trying to be like a reasonable person and be reliable, there's a lot of value in that.
But you naturally have that.
Yeah, I think so. People take a while to warm up to me though. Like in my hours, an hour is good for me versus a 5-10 minute spot because I don't have enough time to build rapport in a short spot. People like see my long hair and the earring and they think I'm a wanker, But then after half an hour, they're like, yeah, he definitely is a wanker.
Right.
No, but I just think it gives time to, yeah. So I don't know. I guess the biggest thing for me has just been like,
'Cause I'm sorry, but I mean, like the marketing and that side of it,
yeah,
that you're saying that you're focusing on more.
Yeah.
I'd say that would be one of the most challenging things for people to pick up and learn
yeah.
through
Well,
the comedy journey.
normally you'd be funny and a funny person gets a big crowd. I'm kind of letting people know I exist, getting people to trust me, take a punt, and then get a big crowd in.
That's a skill.
And then once they come in, use that, I've created, there's been shows that I've had where like work in progress shows where I'll get 100 people through and I'll get them along and it's like, cool, I create a lot of hype, I'll make it a vibe. They walk in, I've got like incense lit, there's music playing, it's like they're pumped for this thing. And now I'm like, well, I fucking need to be really good because I've sold this as a real big thing. So it's almost like, I don't know, just kind of like trying to like set a bit of a thing to work towards, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, marketing, but I just know, like, I know people who are doing better 4 years than myself just from being real funny, just real good joke writers. And I think, if I'd gone back 4 years and focused just on grafting on writing, would I be having as many people through, I don't know, but
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me though, like leaning into your strengths is always a good idea.
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And
like-
maybe that is my strength, marketing a show.
Don't sacrifice your strengths for trying to work on your weaknesses, so to speak. But I guess, I mean, you are funny. You're like, the people laugh. So I wouldn't say that the comedy bit's a weakness, but if you're saying that your strength is the marketing thing, that's a hell of a skill.
Use it, you reckon? Yeah.
That's a hell of a skill. That is. Let's just say that's one of my biggest weaknesses.
Yeah.
PR, figuring out how to market a podcast.
This is smart though. You're getting like, you've had so many people walking past. You've had like 30, 40, 50 photos of you doing this now.
Yes.
And all the photos have QR codes in them. And now you can like, you don't have to scan the code. You can just hold down the code within the photo.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Is that a thing now?
It is. You don't have to open your cat. You can hold down, long hold the QR. So you've like every podcast you do, 50 people have like, it's just, this is not dissimilar to like the sheet thing. People are doing it for you.
Did not know that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. I mean, you were talking about, what were you saying before? You were talking about, it's like taking the risk or doing something. Fuck, I forgot the exact words you use, but it was like, that's how this was born.
Yeah.
Me thinking about, how am I going to, like, me thinking about, geez, I'd love to do this in public,
Yeah.
and just kind of just doing it.
Yeah.
And then it's become addictive ever since.
Have you seen, you think this, you got like your bubble tea stores, you've got like certain retailers of food and beverage, and something that was real big 5, 6, 7 years ago is you go into these stores, be like Gong Cha, and there'd be a swing in Gong Cha, and people would all get their photos taken on the swing, or like the White Girl Angel Wings neon lights.
Yeah.
Something that gets people to come in and take a photo because people are just marketing for you for free. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. And then it's like, I wonder, like, I don't know if there's like you have a third seat down there and a pair of headphones to put
I was
on.
thinking about getting another mic, because sometimes randos will come and talk to us for like a minute, and I'm like, can't hear them very well.
Yeah.
You kind of can hear them,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I love
sometimes
the
I think
idea
they
of
need a
that.
mic.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing like the idea of a podcast that's just with a complete stranger?
I did it once.
Yeah. How
It was
did
only
that
6
go?
minutes because his cousins were like, we're not hanging around for this, we got to go. But it was funny. Yeah, it was one of the first things I released this year was like a 6-minute app with this guy, Nick, the Twitch streamer.
Okay.
And he was talking to me about how he once held the world record for the world's longest continuous stream.
How long was it?
It was like, I'm going to say 72 days.
Fucking hell.
But
It is
he
a
said
long stream.
Now there's this chick that basically is still going, and she started not
So like
laughing.
sleeping, eating, everything's just recorded.
Everything.
That can't be good.
It's called a subathon.
Yeah.
All right, and the premise of it is this. I mean, I can see your brains working over.
No, I
your
was just
Apple
trying to
Wheel.
riff on the sub-dom thing when you said subathon. I'm just thinking you walk into a room, there's like 50 people in dog collars, like that, like a subathon, and they
Yeah,
got to like
no.
do 42 laps of the room.
Very
That's
different.
all good. Subathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is somehow weirder.
Yeah. So the subathon is I'm starting a stream.
Yeah.
I get live on Twitch, and I say, for everyone that subscribes to me, that's another hour
Yeah.
And so
shit.
people are subscribing,
Yeah.
and it's adding an hour on to his stream every single time until he went to 72 days. His life was completely changed. He was making about $2,000 a week as well, because on
Smart.
Twitch, people just
Yeah.
pay and donate. And what ended up happening
Cheers, bro.
is he ended up having to ask people to please stop subscribing
Yeah.
so that he could stop and get back to his life, because he wasn't working anymore, and he wanted to just get back to having a normal life, so he stopped it. But I was like, I don't know, bro. People work very hard to get a lot of subscribers and get people paying them online these days. Like, why would you end that? But
Yeah.
I get it.
Quality of life and stuff as well, right?
Yeah, like my day job gives me structure. I was talking about this with someone online yesterday. She's like, yeah, I feel like I'll be more inspired to get back to my painting once I have a job. And I'm like, I can relate to that, because my day job gets me out of bed at the same time every day, and I've got to show up. And then just having that
100%.
sort of structure in my life allows for this to be a hobby that I have a limited amount of time to do thereafter my full-time job, but I know I've got to lock in
Yeah.
in
Routine.
that time.
This is my problem with comedy. I don't have that.
Yeah.
So if I want to go on a date and then sleep until noon and then grab a coffee, do a bit of admin, go to the gym, that's 6 p.m. Like, there's nothing stopping me doing that. The structure of a job, I could argue that I was as productive, maybe more, probably as productive when I had a 40-hour-a-week job.
Right.
Because it gave me parameters to, I've only got, I finish at 5. Shit, we'll have to gym before work. That's done. Work done. Shower.
Yep.
You've got, it's this and then it's bed. Lock in. But now it's like, I mean, I haven't even looked at my notes from last night. And after this, like, I'm going to go to the gym and then I'll shower. And then, oh no, I've only got an hour till my show. And I'll be refining my notes on a laptop an hour before the show.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, damn, I'm doing this full time. Shouldn't I wake up and be doing this for a few hours? You know, if I had a job, maybe I'd be doing that. So that's interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
So maybe I've thought about, like, when I go back, because dude, like I'm budgeted to run out of money. Like there's like an overlap of a few days between running out of money and the Edinburgh Fringe starting.
Right.
So it's like my money's just going to run down to zero. So I'm thinking, like, maybe I do pick up work at a cafe, at a barber shop, to give myself, like, these days you must do this, and then work either side of that. Yeah, bit of a buffer, but also just like fodder for comedy. Working in a cafe, working
Absolutely.
getting a job, gardening for the council, just learning about getting some job I've never done, and then when I meet someone doing that at a gig, we can chat about it. You know,
100%.
I don't know, life experience and all the rest. But yeah, that you make a real interesting point about if you that friend of yours and yourself, your job means you can make time for this, but if all you've got is time, it's hard to make time.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I just dropped an episode this week.
Yeah.
Parts 1 and parts 2 with Jared Goundry,
Yeah.
a local comic.
Sick.
And, you know, he's very regimented,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, and he doesn't drink anymore. And because he did 7 years in the army,
Okay.
so he learned how to have, like, regime.
Oh, he's going to be unstoppable. How long's he been doing comedy for?
7 years? 8 years.
Yeah,
Eight years.
I don't know the guy myself, but if he's
Yeah.
military background, he's a force to be reckoned with, surely.
Well, he is. And his growth, especially of late,
Yeah.
he's just popping off.
Yeah.
Like, so,
the discipline, right?
yeah, I got
Yeah.
in touch with him. I started following him maybe around November
Yeah.
last year, maybe October.
Yeah.
And very quickly it was like hit 12,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Next week it was 13. Next week it was 15. Next week it
Yeah.
was 17. Like by the end of December it was like, hey, I just hit 20,000.
Bananas.
And it was like, oh, the regime's paying off. There's such a payoff.
Yeah.
And you can see this guy's growth is I can directly attribute it
Yeah.
to how focused and disciplined he is.
But people look at that and probably think it's luck as well. People look at that,
Yeah.
20K followers that he's got, you know, but he's grafted for that. And
But
I imagine he wasn't surprised when he had that success either, because he'd worked towards that.
Well, he's very grateful. To your point about gratitude,
Yeah.
maybe not surprised, but he was definitely grateful, and he
Yeah, cool.
expressed his gratitude for it. And it's like,
Oh, good.
It's like
What's his name again?
Jared Goundry.
Sick. I haven't heard of the guy, but he sounds
Yeah.
like a cool fella.
Yeah, no, he's a legend, and he's funny as
Amazing.
hell too.
Yeah, he's big on the scene here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he's a guy.
I'm going to his show on Saturday night.
Do I look like a silly goose for not knowing him? Is he like, he's a name here?
Well, he's becoming a name here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so no, you're not a silly goose, and,
Yeah.
and I guess one of the things is that he he decided to sort of pick a bit of a niche to grow an audience.
Yeah.
And because he's got a military background, he started sort of doing more military-based jokes.
Yeah.
And just picking a niche that he knew he could, you know, like ring fence some jokes around.
That's cool.
Sort of helped him grow quicker. And I think now, because of, you know, when you see someone with 10,000 followers on Insta, you'll hit follow way quicker than you will if I've got 100.
Yeah, 100%. It's
So,
like, yeah.
Yeah, the audience is growing because of that.
It's funny
yeah,
how that
he's just
works. You
such a
need to lean into that though, don't you? It's like the blue, like I've got the little like blue tick now on Instagram, and I've had like half a dozen friends will be like, "Oh, blue tick." It's like it's such a nothing thing.
Yep.
But we've kind of like got this like Black Mirror episode thing happening where people like that credibility.
Yes.
You know?
And I'll tell you how, like, I've just kind of had this light bulb moment around how it works. So algorithms work off niches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what YouTube's going to do is when you're an early creator, like we think that I'm going to put my stuff on YouTube and YouTube's just going to show it to everyone, or it's going to be visible for everyone. But YouTube's like, fuck no. You're a new creator. We don't want to risk alienating people that we know are coming to our platform. So what we're going to do is we're going to just show you to a small batch of people.
Yeah, not to everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say they're going to pick 100 people to put you in front of.
Yeah.
Now, if those 100 people, 50 of them like and share and start commenting, then they'll show you to 1,000, for example, right? And then if you still have that same sort of reaction rate or engagement rate with the 1,000, you go to 10,000, right? And that's the beauty of picking a niche.
Yeah.
Doing barber jokes, for example.
Yeah.
Now you're going to build an audience of barbers. But then what happens? Your audience will grow way faster because you have a niche.
Yeah.
You will hit that sort of, the exponential growth will happen sooner because you've got a niche.
Yeah.
And then you'll start going out to other randos.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It definitely
and
makes
that's the
sense.
challenge with me having a generalist podcast where I literally talk to anyone. Is like, now that I've had that light bulb moment, I can see why it's so hard to get growth.
Yeah.
Because it's not just comedy, right?
No, 100%, bro. And I think I've heard this happening. I've seen it happen with Instagram as well. Like I did a very brief reel about like, you know, our like baby boomers reacting to non-binary kid. It's got like 8 million views. It blew up because it's like a everywhere relatable thing. But I see stuff, you can see it go locally viral. It gets 5,000-10,000 views.
Yep.
Anything I've done city specific, Wellington, Melbourne, you can see Instagram go, this pool of people does well, this pool of people does well, this, and you can see when it hits the ceiling. And so like I did a silly little Melbourne reel, got like 300k plays. Wellington ones have got 200, 300k plays, but there's always ceiling there because that is as big as the crowd they're going to kind of give it to. They will have tested the Melbourne video in America and in Asia and these places, and it just won't pick up, so it just keeps it there. But as you're saying, the trick is to, you know, something that in every new audience that sees it, there's a tipping point where more and more people engage with it. Yeah.
And that's been a big learning curve. Just putting myself, like putting the hat of the people that run YouTube on. Like if I was YouTube, how would I manage a new creator? Oh, cool. Well, so I don't piss off the rest of the audiences. I'll just show them to a few people. And if they do well, and that's the beauty of Jared doing these military videos, is that because they're so specific to that audience, his engagement with that audience is going to be way higher.
And there's more than enough people to make
Cool glasses. See those little...
They were sick.
Love heart
They were great.
Okay.
There's more than enough, you know, what do they say? You need like 1,000 true fans.
1,000 true fans.
And there's
I
at
love
least
that
1,000
article.
people that have been in the military. There's millions of them in the world,
Easy.
and he will have 1,000 of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the thing is like picking a lane, finding your voice. I still got to find my voice. I don't know what my thing is. I've got
bro. Funerals, bro.
funeral material, 100%. Yeah, I'm not the only one dying up here. Am I right? I think I think that the thing for me, I do have I have an overwhelming demographic of people that follow me that are like non-binary LGBT people, and I think I've got that like Harry Styles thing where like I'm straight but queer people like feel safe around me. It might be like the earrings or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe the long hair. I don't know. But it's like,
Well, you aren't. Well,
maybe that's my
You're
awareness.
non-threatening. Like you're a genuine, open, easy to engage with kind of guy.
The gaslighting is working. Cool, man.
If it's gaslighting, it is working. Yeah. I mean, you gaslit me into coming here. No, I'm really grateful that you came here, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
No, it's cool having
I
you.
was
Yeah.
stoked. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this guy. And I'm like, shit, he's out of town. I've got to get him while he's here.
Yeah. That's cool. And this is, like I said, I'd heard about this before I rolled up today.
That's so
and this
wild
is like,
to me, bro.
yeah. Well, it's like, and I don't know how. Is this this is always here, or you just put it up when you come through?
I just put it up when I come through. Of course, I take it with me. That thing cost me like $800.
It's so smart.
Oh, the hooks are. You see how they've been camoed in?
Oh, dude, that's so smart.
Yeah. So I stuck the hooks on with super glue about a year ago, just under a year ago.
And then you hang
and
that
then
up, and you.
I coloured them in black Sharpie just to try and blend them in a bit more. And then a week later, someone had come and painted this little bunker, and they were completely camoed in. So
That's
they
so
stay.
good. What's behind here? Is this like
This
a
is fire
utility?
escape.
You're sick.
Yep.
That would be the most Melbourne tragedy, wouldn't it? People try and flee during a fire. Dude, there's a bit in there
But
somewhere.
they're not open at the moment. So when I'm here around 6 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Saturday, because I
Yeah.
usually record Saturdays,
Yeah.
when I'm here at 6 p.m., generally one of the dudes with the walkie-talkie
Yeah.
thing will come up from the forum, stand over there,
Yeah.
look at me real sus, and come over and be like, you've got to be out of here by 7. And
Yeah.
I'm usually done well by 7.
Yeah. I imagine like risk management lens, like an hour is like a pretty good accepted risk, right? The odds of a fire happening. But there's a bit in there about there being like, it almost feels like an Onion article, like an article by the Onion. It's like Melbourne such and such trapped by podcasters in alley. Like that's hilarious. That camo's so smart.
100%. That venue fits about 10,000
So
people.
good.
So
I don't know why I thought this was just a forever neon sign. I just trusted that people just wouldn't do anything with it. But that cost you $800.
with the battery that I have to charge
Yeah.
it,
Damn.
power it with for sure. But
100%.
I mean, so I told this story a few times on the podcast. So the reason I got that sign
Yeah.
was because I've been on the verge of quitting this podcast because of the immense amount of work.
Yeah.
A couple of times, just going, fuck, I'm not sure if I can manage this. I'm burning myself out.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, but if you chuck a bunch of money into a neon sign
Yeah.
that's got your name written on it, and
Yeah.
it says like the name of your podcast, and hang it up in your bedroom, right? Because it's a sick red light, and hang it up in your bedroom. Hello.
Sorry, bro. I'm just taking a minute. She's
Yeah.
no, I saw the veil.
She deserves it.
No, I just meant it's my ex.
We have wedding.
She's moved on. I didn't know she moved on so quickly. I'm devastated. Told me
you
she
only
needed to
broke up
take some
last week.
time. Dude, I know. They move quickly here in Melbourne, man.
They do.
They move quickly.
They do.
I do. Can I? I don't
Go
want
ahead.
to sound unkind. I'm not being unkind. But
Absolutely.
like, she's
She
getting.
needs to iron that dress.
Yeah, she needs to iron the dress. She must have been sitting all day. That's
Yeah, she's
absolutely
been
fine.
sitting on
I don't
it,
want to be unkind, but I'm just thinking like I know.
You need one of those people that walks with you with the steamer thing. That
Yeah.
sort of just.
But I'd love to do that for a job. I'd love to do that. Just walk
You'd get
behind
plenty of stories.
steam in a wedding dress. Yeah, I would.
Plenty of material.
I couldn't tell anyone what I do for a job though. If there's like, what do you do? I'd just be like, I'm in fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love the idea that you're like, so it's like it's like a manifesting thing for you.
Yeah, part manifesting, but the other part, it was like accountability. It's like, all right, well, you've sunk a bunch of money into. I mean, I'd already had the equipment that I sunk
Yeah.
the money into, but I just needed a reminder every day when
Yeah.
I came home from work and looked into my room and went,
Yeah.
oh, it's hanging up in there. Now, it doesn't hang up in my room anymore because I keep all my equipment in my office, but it was just enough to push me over the line, right? And
That's cool.
And one of the things I realized coming in this year and setting like an aggressive target, which was just under double what I'd produced the year before and the year after, which is a lot because both those years I was at the end of the year, I was like, fuck, 22 episodes, fucking lot of work. But then I'm like 40 episodes, 40. How am I going to do that? You know what I've done? I've just cut out going out. Well, for the most part, I've cut out going out. I've all those nights that I spent going out, just bludgeon, just, you know, picking up girls or whatever it is I was doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't important. It wasn't this. And I'm already on track to exceed my target.
Do you ever do
40 eps.
back-to-back episodes?
Yeah, so I've got another one
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, it's the most efficient way to manage the production, right? Is
Yeah,
to
yeah, of
come
course.
here. You know, it takes me a good 45 minutes
Yeah.
from the office to get here, set it all up. And when you were saying before, was it like an hour or something? I'm
Yeah.
like, firstly, I want to maximize the amount of time I get with someone.
Yeah, of course.
Because I've dragged them all the way over here.
Yeah.
Secondly, it does, like I said, it goes real quick.
Yeah, bro, 100%. It's been like a couple hours already?
No,
yeah,
it's nearly an hour and 40.
yeah.
Right. And so, out of respect to you and me, we're going to hash this out for a little bit
Yeah,
of time.
definitely. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then I'm like, okay, one just, like, I feel like I can do two. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
So I started doing two, and one day I did three.
Yeah,
Because I had a rando who's been my most successful episode yet.
yeah.
He saw me on the first recording. So let's
Yeah.
just say halfway through this one, there was a guy standing there, comes in, interrupts, goes, I want to be on this.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, cool, bro. Well, I've got this.
yeah,
And then I've got my next one.
yeah,
So I'm not going to be free till about 5 o'clock.
yeah.
And it was like 11 a.m.,
And
12.
he showed up at 5? He was there?
Bro, he didn't show up at 5. He hung around till 5.
Wow, dude. That's one of 1,000 of them, 1,000 fans like that.
He's my biggest fan.
Yeah,
Legit, he's my big... Can I show you?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to show you something.
but that's the thing. You get there's another 999 of him, and then this is all you need to do, right?
Yes. He is dead set my biggest fan. These are messages from him,
Yeah,
like, every day.
that's cool.
My Insta... Look, I'll read this. 2025 is on the way. Never give up, Louis. Never give up. Keep going. Love hearts and everything.
Yeah, is he quite a hard out? It seems like a hard out character.
He is such a hard out character. He's got the most crazy stories.
Cool.
But he became a fan. And like, I was glad that day that I didn't shut him down
Yeah,
and was like, oh, nah, bro, let's book this in later.
Yeah.
But he did ask me to pick up my equipment and take it down to in front of his artwork where he
Yeah.
was doing a photo shoot earlier
Yeah,
that day
cool.
in front of some of his those love hearts.
yeah,
That's him, the music notes and love hearts.
yeah, cool.
And not only has that been my, like, by far the best performing ep,
Yeah,
but it's also, like, he's a genuine guy who's
cool.
he's willing me on.
yeah,
Don't, like, imagine waking up to a morning, almost
Yeah.
every day from a guy that's going,
Yeah.
keep going, never give up.
Yeah.
That's what this guy's doing for me.
I had a partner like that, who would like big me up every day like that, and she was real good. And then she, we just saw her walk past with a veil on. You know what I mean? It was so good. Well, it was good, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
What
cool,
happened,
man. That's
bro?
cool.
Where was she? From New Zealand?
Oh, I was just riffing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, bro.
I'm implying that I had a fan like that who then got married down a laneway. It was quite niche. I
Well,
was trying to carve out a niche.
But some girlfriends are good like that with us. You
No,
know, like,
100%. That's what my show's about, bro. Is about the like life with and without. It's not to say that they're just like a supporting character that we lean on, the manic pixie dream girl
Yeah.
for self betterment. But it's like, yeah, 100%, bro. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, dude, definitely.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like, a good woman can really change your life.
Yeah,
And
100%.
I've had that. I mean, I don't at the moment. I mean, yeah, maybe I do at the moment.
Yeah.
It's still early in this new thing that I'm in. But
Do you agree with the idea, or what are your thoughts around like that dudes we can fall into a trap sometimes as using or just people in general, but men with our women about using them as rehab sometimes, that they kind of take us in until we find our forever home.
bro, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the same works in reverse.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Yeah, chicks will do it to dudes as well.
Hmm.
100.
You think it's just like a human thing to kind of lean on
It's a
lean
human
on
trait.
people. Yeah.
And so, like, the hero's journey in life, what I've come to sort of understand about the hero's journey is that you're fucked up by some trauma in the first 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
And for everyone, that their trauma might be different, might be extreme, may have lost a parent, may have lost a limb. It's the same as someone, for the person that just sort of bombed on stage, you know, in their first act as a 6-year-old, their level of trauma is exactly the same. And your hero's journey is all about overcoming that.
Yeah.
And how we sort of develop through our trauma is a lot in the relationships. that we get into, because those are the people that get to know us the most and the deepest and darkest sides of us, right?
Yeah.
And that make us feel safe to come out and be honest about that
Offering
shit.
a different view, right? Offering perspective as a
They
thing.
offer perspective. They offer kindness. They offer a safe space for you to be open and talk about, like, you know, like you meet a girl, you have the honeymoon period, and then, you know, you realize you like her. So you're going to start telling her about, well, she's going to ask, you know, what was it like growing up? And then you're going to tell her that shit story about that thing that happened to you when you were growing up. And there you go. And that's, you know, for a lot of young men, of course we're damaged, bro. Of course we're damaged. I mean, like our generation of young men is an interesting generation because, like, let's just say the divorce rates are so high.
Yeah.
And divorce is like a new thing.
Yeah.
Like, go back 100 years.
Yeah.
Didn't work. So your trauma back then would have been that mum and dad stayed together and dad was abusive. The relationship was abusive or something, but they stayed together.
Yeah.
Now you've got like young men growing up without a dad, right? Which is kind of what I experienced.
Yeah.
And so, you know, part of my hero's journey is like learning how to be a dad when I didn't have one.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does it look like?
Yeah.
And I got that wrong for a lot of my daughter's life. But because she's my kid and because I've stuck around and just kept calling, she's helped me get through that process, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just, I'm like, okay, just recently I kind of worked out, no, you can't always be the sensitive guy. Sometimes you need to show that certain things in life don't rattle you. And that's kind of part of the brief that I've just picked up recently. I'm like,
100%.
Part of being a man is being reliable. And, you know, what some of my exes experienced in the past was unreliable me because I didn't realize that was part of the brief.
Yeah, 100% reliability. I think what you're chatting about like not necessarily having hey bro,
Did
not
I go on a
necessarily.
fucking tangent just there? Because I'm mindful that may have just not answered your question at all.
I can't even, no, it's just, I mean, it's just conversation, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, it's, there's more value in your riff just then. I was probably chatting about like, seeing an X in a Vale down in a laneway, average Melbourne experience. No, I think, when you talk about like being you've got the one child, 16-year-old, and you're like, you've never done it before, but just given it an honest shot. Reminds me of something a boss told me a few years back at a job. It was like, you know, it's like you're doing the best job that you can with the information you have available. Exactly. And I think that line and that mindset's real important. It's like with what you know and with what you reasonably can do, you're doing the best that you can. Yep. It's like there's people who have more of an idea of how it's done and have more tools available and more experience, and you're not them. You have the tools that you have, you have the knowledge you have, and with that, if you're doing the best job you can, you can't do any more than that, and you're maxing out your role as a dad.
Yep. But that's not exclusive. And to answer the other question, like that's not exclusive just to men. Like women go through that too. You know, for whatever reason. Yeah. And so no, I don't think it's exclusive to men. I think it's a people thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've caught myself doing it. I've caught myself when I've had, you know, 8 to 10 year, a long-term relationship, and then on the dates after that, having the. I mean, I could have just said 8. I don't know why I rounded it like that, but the better part of a decade, still good friends, amicable. I see myself on dates sometimes. You have like conversation and rapport that some people would wait many months to get into. You know, like. I wouldn't say trauma dumping, but just talking about like big ideas. And I remember being like the second date in with something a few months back, and it was something. Goodness, imagine saying that about a lady. She was something.
It was something special. You forgot to say special.
Yeah, something special.
Yeah.
I was chatting away to this lady, and we're like second date, and I was telling her about, I remember like full eye contact being like, I am terrified of getting older and I'm terrified of dying. And I was like, this feels quite hard out for a second hinge date. At least I didn't do it on the first, but I do spot myself doing that, you know, having that rapport, those conversations where it's just kind of like you lean on people, you have a date, you work through things together. Yeah. But then I also think if there's like an expectation that it's like, this is, you know, a bit of it's friendship. You know, if you get chatting to someone at a cafe, you might have a similar conversation. Bro, there was a German backpacker a couple nights ago at a hostel around the corner, was having like a proper breakdown chatting to me. And I don't want to make light of what happened, but on the first hand, emotionally expressive German, funny. very rare in nature.
Unusual.
Normally, any of them you see in New Zealand are like, I hope I get to see a Kiwi bird, and that's about it. And sometimes they do get to see a Kiwi bird. This guy was like, I'm 30. I was in Germany and I was depressed. Now I am just depressed in a different country. Which, like, he didn't see the comedy in it because, as I've been learning in Melbourne with any German audiences, they don't actually have comedy in Germany.
Bro is a stand-up natural with that kind of material. 100%.
It was great, but we were chatting away and he was having like a proper existential breakdown. So, you know, maybe people get into deep conversations with strangers sometimes, and that can take the form of a date. I think as long as you don't, I think the problem is if you're on a date with someone, like if I'm with that German guy and we're having a real deep and meaningful, he's leaving that going, cool, we've had a good chat, this is mean, I'm a better person. I think with a date, I think with two people who there's potential for sexual emotional compatibility and something going forward, you have a real deep chat about whatever. You have conversations, you get in real hard, you chat trauma 2-3 dates in. That has quite a lot of the qualifiers of this is a person who wants something with me going forward. And sometimes it is, right? Yeah, you're matchmaking and all the rest.
But they're not always on that page.
No, but I think there's a danger there of expectation setting if you're chatting to someone, you're dating, you're whatever, having that rapport, being like, I know that because I'm quite an intense person. I'm intense. I talk a lot about a lot of things, and it's not a crazy assumption that could maybe be misunderstood as, you know, I want a life with this person.
100%. For someone that's not on that page. But for someone else, for the right person, they're like, oh, fuck, this guy's so much more open than my ex-boyfriend was. Like, my ex-boyfriend never talked about anything. He never talked about anything that was troubling him. And I knew there was something wrong, but he was never open. And then this person meets you, and they're like, wow, this person's so open. This is a breath of fresh air.
I'm very lucky, bro, because like I said, super, super close with my mum growing up, proper mama's boy in that. And what that's translated to is I
couldn't tell from the tattoo.
Right, couldn't tell from the tattoos or the dangly earring or the inability to commit meaningfully. No, the growing up in that, like I've never been one, you know, these like can't chat about feelings, push it down dudes. I've been lucky to never be that type of man. I've been real lucky, like proper soy boy character that I'm not pushing it down. I can just fucking blah. And I think that I'm very, very lucky to be able to be like, here's what I'm feeling, here's how I'm feeling it.
Yeah. So in the next 10 years, it's about knowing when to pull the trigger on it, and that, or like being mindful about like, this might not be the right time or place.
Yeah.
Or this person's expectations might be a bit different.
You chat in relationships, you mean meeting a new person, and 100%.
Yeah, because I do think that there is a big virtue in being that guy.
Yeah.
Like huge. We need more of that. But there's also virtue in practicing the discipline of knowing when to be a listener and empathetic, and when to express yourself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you don't want to be on all the time. That's you're just an annoying guy at a hostel if you're doing that.
Yeah, well, that's
100%.
Because I'm similar to you.
Yeah.
Right. And then I realized, oh, fuck, that was probably a bit too much for those people at my workplace who were customers that just wanted to buy shit.
But like you say, in terms of creating,
I didn't need to know that I pissed blood this morning.
Yeah. Holy shit. Loose.
Very loose.
But thank you for selling me those hammers. Dude. Yeah, I think there's like, and there's, you know, with dating, with intimate relationships and stuff, there's a bit of mystery and just not giving your, like, how when you meet someone, how much of yourself do you kind of like hold back and be like, this is weeks, this is months from now, there's this stuff as well, and how much are you like upfront about? Is it 50-50? Do you?
I'm holding back more and more.
Yeah. Oh, right. So you as you get older, there's okay. Yeah. Because that's all you have to give someone, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like broadly, not all you have, but it's like you as a person, what your deal is, everything about you, all of that. You probably don't want to give that all away on the first date. You know, that's something that maybe in your mind is something that's earned over getting to know you. Yeah. People building up trust. Do you want to trust someone before just opening up, because no one wants that 100. Thrown in their face. Yeah.
100.
And so as you get older, you hold on to more and more because you want to build rapport and trust and know someone before being like, here's my deal. You don't just want to fight at a hinge date. I'm afraid of dying.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely go, and that comes from trust issues.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the, I mean, and this is probably very common for most people.
Yeah.
Like some of the closest people that I should have trusted in my life have burnt me.
Yeah.
In various ways.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I like to try and build trust a bit more before I
100%.
let you in to this, because once you're in here, it's pretty fucking bleak sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful as well.
Yeah. I think
And I think that's when I think about my favorite girlfriend, the one that really fucking loved me, warts and all. Yeah, she got that. She got to see the most beautiful and the most bad parts of me.
Yeah, right.
And she loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I can reflect on that and go, I'm very grateful for that person.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's that thing I'm not trying to be too profound, but earlier I made the point about like no losses, only little wins and big wins. You think about being burnt by your friends, losing someone who was special to you. It's like at the time that feels like real sucking, real bad, and it is a loss, but there's momentum, there's progress made from that. Like you're a better person, you're a better partner now. You know who to trust, who not to trust, So there's positives from that, isn't there? I guess.
And
Or
I had a
maybe it
kid when
doesn't.
I was 23, right?
Yeah,
so,
I was doing the maths. You would have been young when you had a kid. Yeah, that's very young.
So she, I went in deep quick.
Yeah,
And for me, it's about
turn of phrase, but yeah,
Yeah. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Apologies. But for me, part of that hero's journey or self-discovery journey is going, okay, well, now you got to learn, because you can do that easily, and you've proven that.
Yeah,
You got evidence of that. But, part of your journey is to learn how to do things moderately and progress things.
Yeah.
I suppose considerately before going in too hard.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, part of me's recoiled a bit too much, maybe. But I'm still figuring it out.
It's all a journey, eh? If you're with someone that you hold back on real hard around, you can't give your full self, then you swing hard the other way. You get out of that relationship, you can overshare,
Yeah.
If you overshare, you get burnt, then like yourself, you go the other way and you dial it in.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like...
And then you meet that person who wanted you to open up.
Yeah.
You don't know that was her.
Yeah, it's interesting, how much of like communication and personality is the byproduct of past relationships, but it's all, that's why it's important to kind of, 40, 31 or whatever, to have things that go well, things that don't go well. I just think it's just calluses
100.
and it just makes you tougher to just be real good at it. And also to know what you can and can't handle. Like I've had relationships where I think I can handle something and there's won't go into detail, but like when I was a teenager, I had a partner who she had a job that I thought was like real cool on paper, and then I was like, oh yeah, this feels like I'm not your only partner, maybe because of your line of work, and it's hard to swing this around into me being okay with it, and you have that, you get burnt, you're a real sad boy, but you're like, I've set parameters mentally of what I do and don't like, and with every relationship you learn more and more about what you can and can't handle. Our grandparents would have got into a relationship, be like, fuck, I'm not into that. Oh, well, I'll be with you for 60 years. I'll just push it down.
Exactly.
And just, you'll take Valium and I'll sink piss every night and we'll work through it. I'll just have our fucking eat off our radioactive dinnerware and stay warm with the asbestos in our ceiling.
I met a couple like that in France.
Yeah.
They were like 60 something, and they were that couple for sure.
Yeah.
They were a British couple. But anyway, well, what's going on for the rest of 2025 for you? What have everyone got to look forward to? So you've got a few days left here in Melbourne.
4 days in Melbourne.
Yep.
Club Voltaire, and then I'm touring New Zealand, doing Dunedin, Christchurch.
We didn't show people the sign.
Oh,
as well.
yeah. Hell yeah.
What does it say?
I'm not very good at folding a fitted sheet, but okay at comedy. Which,
It's good.
it's not entirely truthful,
It's
bro.
got your handle on it too. No,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
No,
entirely
just see me tonight at Club Voltaire, Unhinged Kiwi stand-up.
Nice. I'm going to put that back down there.
Yeah, check that out. And then I'm touring through first New Zealand tour, doing Dunedin, Christchurch, Kapiti, Greytown. I'm really excited for Greytown because it's at an antique store, bro. It's 20-seater.
Where's Greytown?
Do you know New Zealand very well?
No.
Okay, Wellington, capital city. It's Melbourne with like about 90% of the pretentiousness and coffee beans. And It's got hour east of the capital city. Little village, Greytown, random spot, 20-seater antique store. My bro Woody.
That's a sweet gig.
It's
Are you filming
cool.
that? Make sure you film
I
that.
probably will. Yeah, I will. I
Actually
think it'll be
fun.
fun. Or maybe, yeah. I think
That's a
it's
cool
cool.
setting, bro.
It could even be like, that could be something you get like filmed, like put a few $100
Yeah.
into getting like
Some uni student in Wellington will do it for free.
100%.
Like some film student.
Absolutely.
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. if I have a week where I haven't undervalued the arts, I haven't had a fucking week. So I'm just paying those little bastards nothing. No, we will do something like that. 4-night run in Wellington at Fringe Bar, 6th to 9th of May, where I did my first joke that died real hard.
Oh yeah.
On that stage.
The fuck you anniversary of fuck you gig.
Anniversary, yeah. And that was the hardest gig I'd ever done until 2 nights ago, and I just had an audience of 2, and there was an Irish woman and a German woman, and they're both young.
That's the start of a joke. There's an Irish woman
and a German woman. Okay, I'll tell you the joke. Irish woman, German woman walk into Club Voltaire. The German woman was very methodical and smart, but perhaps her mind didn't lend itself to comedy.
Yeah.
And for the next hour, thought I was the worst person in the world and took everything I said literally.
It was a TED Talk for her.
Dude, I had this one bit where I was like, you know, as men, we see a woman in a sundress and whatever her political beliefs are now mine. That's kind of the bit. And that's just me being kind of like silly and saying that like the beauty of woman is such that we just switch off, eyes roll back in the head and like the Apple logo appears.
Been there, done that.
Yes. Now, I won't actually change my political beliefs for someone. But you imagine being an audience member, hearing me say that and taking it literally and
thinking
going,
she was at a TED Talk.
Fuck, this dude's simping for a woman in a sundress, which is only partially true. But yeah, no punchline for that joke, bro. Just a real hard gig. At the end of the gig, I got out my set list and we did a Spotify Wrapped, and I was like, let's work through this and see where it went wrong. And I went back through every joke, and I was like, yeah, and around. It was quite fun. But yeah, man, 20 nights between Australia and New Zealand, fly back to the UK in about 4 weeks. And just try and crack that, you know.
Oh, bro, yes, I'm excited to finally met you. I'm
Yeah,
here on this journey. I'm
likewise.
invested now. I'll be following
man.
you and your journey
I
back.
post on my story 5 times a day. It'll be up there. I'll chuck
be
you on
there.
Close Friends, and you can see how I'm really doing.
Absolutely.
Close
Fuck
Friends
yeah,
is where
please.
I post a cock ring.
Seen it.
Hell yeah.
Was that it?
Dude, it
That was
feels
it.
so cursed that I pulled out a silicone cock ring with tea leaves on
Fill
it.
that up, bro. You got some girth. I'm just saying.
No, I'd use it as a hair tie.
Oh man, it's been so good to have you on the pod.
Yeah, man.
I really
Thank you for having me. I
been-
appreciate you, bro. It's been real cool.
It's been really
This
great.
is fun. Are
Yeah.
you good chats? And it's I was thinking, bro, as well. This is probably one of the longer conversations I've had because I'm very distractible. This is cool.
Yeah, this has been really good. It's really good for me. And like I said, like we're 2 hours in and it's just flown.
Yeah, man.
It's just disappeared.
100%.
Thank you for the chocolate.
Like MH370, bro, flew and fucking just disappeared. 10 years later, can anyone find any evidence? Maybe not. But
this
it's
will be up.
somewhere in Australia, they reckon. Yeah, cool. Nice, bro.
But I appreciate you. It's been so good. What's your handle for everyone that wants to follow?
At Dan Boerman Comedy is me. I think there's like another Dan Boerman in the Netherlands, so I had to go at Dan Boerman Comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I don't know the guy, but I trust him.
Yeah, right.
Just based
Same
on his
name.
name.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
very
Yeah, bro.
trustable.
Thank you for having me.
It's been awesome, bro.
It's been good fun, man.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's clap it out.
Hell yeah, do it. Rock and roll.
Whoop. 1, 2, 3.
How
Nice.
good.
Very good, bro.
Cheers, man.
Oh, I loved it.
That was